It's one square after another, pretty neat piles of debris all the way down this road. Some of this is from Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago. Some of it is from Hurricane Milton, and they are waiting for it to be picked up.
Flooding's also been an issue. About 1,000 people have been rescued. Some at a Tampa Senior Center underwater.
It's very scary. It was very cold.
Vice President Harris said while campaigning in Arizona and Nevada.
I cannot stress enough the work that we have been doing around the clock to make sure that the federal resources are on the ground in partnership with state and local leaders.
Former President Trump says the federal response to Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago, especially in flood-ravaged North Carolina, is the worst ever. He'll campaign in Colorado and Nevada today after going to Detroit, warning about Chinese cars built in Mexico.
They think that they're going to sell all of these cars into the United States, which would destroy Michigan, totally destroy your state. But it's not going to happen.
Former President Obama held an anti-Trump rally in Pennsylvania, but earlier at a Democratic campaign office in Pittsburgh, Obama appeared concerned about Harris's support, especially among black men.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
We just got another inflation update at the wholesale level this time. They did not increase last month from August, and like consumer prices, the annual rate of producer price inflation declined slightly to 1.8%. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He may be called to testify. It's sunny with a clear radar, 52 on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Do you remember the name Keegan Kline? He's the man behind an online profile who communicated with Libby German in the days leading up to when she and Abby Williams were murdered in Delphi a few years ago. Well, the defense for the man accused of killing them, Richard Allen, have asked the judge to have Kline taken to the Carroll County Courthouse where they intend to have him testify as a witness in the case. Kline is in prison for child porn. The Delphi murders trial starts on Monday. Hoosiers love school choice, and that's not hyperbole. There's a survey that's backing that up. Betsy Wiley with the Institute for Quality Education tells Indy Politics that since state lawmakers passed expansions to the state school voucher program, the number of people engaging in it is way up.
We have record-breaking voucher applications at over 75,000 students participating in that program this year.
And she says the vast majority of parents are choosing a different public school district than the one they geographically live in. A car stolen in Lebanon, and the perp was caught by the cops overnight. Jake McDaniel reports.
Lebanon police chased after 28-year-old Christian Brown after he stole a car at an apartment complex northbound of Lebanon Street. Brown hit many cars, including police cars. He was then stopped by police near the State Road 32 and I-65 overpass. He refused to exit the car and was taken to Boone County Jail. He now faces charges of auto theft, resisting law enforcement, reckless driving, and battery on law enforcement. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The ACLU and Planned Parenthood are appealing a decision by a superior court not to hear their case, looking to expand certain exceptions to the state's abortion ban. The Indiana Court of Appeals now taking up the case. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor was once again held out of practice on Thursday, but he says he's feeling better as he rehabs a bum ankle.
Feeling way better, which is a positive sign. Anytime you can progress throughout the week, you're closer to getting back on the field.
Quarterback Anthony Richardson was a full participant in practice. Still not clear, though, if he'll be starting Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
Still a little bit slow, Kurt, on the northwest side, northbound 465 from 86th Street up to 865. That was an earlier crash. And northbound 65 all cleared out from the north split out to Meridian Penn. South side still a stall on southbound 65 on the exit to Raymond Street. Ramp is open. It is partially blocked. Traffic sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving central Indiana.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
As we move into Friday, we're going to have a nice sunny and warm day. High temperature just around the 80-degree mark. Winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And as we move to Friday, a couple clouds in the overnight hours. Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Jonah Sutis for 93 WIBC.
52 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is Friday, October 11th. It's 6 minutes after 9. It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. Rob Kendall taking yet another Friday off. This is 5 Fridays in a row for you, Jim Roberts, that you have been filling in.
For the guy that says that he hates taking time off, he hates going on vacation because he loves doing this show.
But
he's taken a lot of time off lately.
But he's off again.
He's off again.
He said he was going to go golfing today. It may be his last chance, and boy, he has a beautiful day to do it as well. We've got a lot to get to today. A lot of Trump audio, a lot of Biden audio, maybe even some Kamala Harris if we can tolerate it. But we have to talk about what's going on with Elon Musk. Can we do that?
Yeah, and not dark MAGA Elon Musk,
right,
business leader Elon Musk.
Right. Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Yesterday, he had his Musk event party, and he unveiled what he called his vision of a fun, exciting future, an age of abundance, full of his company's self-driving cars and self-driving vans, and also robot humanoids.
Yes.
You're all in on this, huh?
I think it's human nature that everybody's first reaction, and Twitter's losing their mind over this right now because, they're saying things like, have you seen the movie I, Robot? Have you seen the movie Terminator? I think those are, doomsday scenarios, but look at the upside.
What is the upside?
The upside is that if we all have our own robots, they're mowing our lawn, they're walking the dog, they're doing our laundry, cooking dinner for me every night. I can't wait to get one. I'm going to be the first one there to line up and buy one.
$20,000 to $30,000 is what he said they're going to cost.
Okay, maybe not the first one lined up to buy one. 20 or 30 grand. That's a little salty.
What's the financing on that?
I'm going to have to save up, I think.
What sort of rate do you get with that one?
Banks are going to love it.
Yeah.
So now you've got your home loan, you've got your auto loan, and you got your robot loan.
So Elon Musk said that Optimus robots could make Tesla a $25 trillion company. It's going to lift the company's market cap.
It absolutely could. So, this could be just absolutely life-altering in a positive way for everybody. Think of all the manual daily tasks that this could do. It could revolutionize blue-collar labor. That could be a major, shift in work changes for people if all of a sudden a robot can frame a house or pour concrete or put, siding on the side of your house. That's a big deal and a big change.
Until it turns on you and it takes over humanity, just like in the Will Smith movie,
Doomsday scenario. They are shockingly look very similar to the robots from the movie I, Robot.
Yeah, except they don't really have a face. It's just kind of a circular head, right?
Yeah, that's the big difference. There's no facial features. There's no mouth or eyes or nose. But other than that, swap out the head, and they look pretty much just like the robots in the Will Smith movie, I, Robot.
Yeah, that's a little scary. So he said that these robots could even babysit your kid. Are you kidding me? Who is going to let this robot babysit their kid?
Me?
Good thing we have an adult child now. It doesn't require babysitting.
I just think that this is people are freaking out over this. The videos and the clips are all over Twitter. This robot is dancing. It's playing rock, paper, scissors. It's behind a bar mixing up cocktails. It's going to be fabulous. I don't see how there's any downside here.
You don't see any downside.
No downside whatsoever. I mean, okay, sure, the robots could go crazy and harm a lot of people, but
they work on off the internet, right? So you can
I'm sure they'd be
theoretically
connected to the internet.
unplug them.
Yes, I'm sure there's a kill switch or some sort of thing like that would take care. I get that people are freaked out because there's been movies for decades about how robots rise up against us and take over the world. But you cannot stop progress. Scientists are going to create things and move things forward, and they're going to make robots, and they're going to make self-driving cars, and they're going to make AI. And my argument for all of that has always been, hey, it's a lot better that the United States of America is the leaders on that, because we don't want some adversarial state like Russia or Iran or China to be the ones out leading and creating these things.
So if this is going to happen,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen anyway. And the upside is we get our own Rosie the Maid like in Jetsons. I wonder if I can program my robot to have a really bad Boston accent like Rosie did. Hey, Mr. J. I don't even know if that's a Boston accent, but it's some sort of,
something.
Yeah. Just kind of an accent to set it aside there. But yeah, I'd love my own Rosie the Maid robot. Are you kidding me?
Well, Elon Musk never been one to shy away from pushing the boundaries of imagination. I think it'll be really interesting to see where this goes. It's a little bit of sci-fi that is here now. He's saying that these robots are going to be available within the next couple of years. They're in the test phase now.
I told you, sign me up. I'm going to start saving now. We'll start saving our pennies. We'll be one of the first ones to buy a robot and come home after a hard day's work, and you've got dinner cooked for you, and the house is cleaned, and the laundry is done, and they, rotated the tires on the car. It's going to be great.
Can we talk about that creepy, weird video that Gretchen Whitmer put out? Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan.
Yeah, I don't understand this. I can't imagine.
That was the weirdest thing ever, and I'm sure you've seen it, but she was pretending pretty much to give communion to this podcaster. This podcaster was on her knees, and they were using a Dorito as the Eucharist, and Gretchen Whitmer was wearing a Harris Waltz hat, and I just wonder, apparently they don't want any Catholic votes going to Harris.
Look, there's the Catholic aspect of it
that
is weird. But beyond that, it's just a weird, creepy video. And I get that Gretchen Whitmer has a fairly sophisticated and smart social media team behind her, and she has produced some social media content that has been
getting a lot of attention
for good reasons. This one I don't understand on any level because I have no idea what they were trying to accomplish. It's a less than 10-second video.
Yeah,
it's maybe 7 or 8 seconds long, but I don't understand what she was trying to accomplish by doing this. It's not like this is a TikTok trend where people are, pretending to play priest and hand out Eucharist. This was something that she just went ahead and did, and that means that many people, including her, reviewed this video in advance and all said, "Yep, that's the one. That's it.
The one
Let's post that. That one's going out. Good work, people. Good work, everybody. Nice. We made a creepy Eucharist video. Well done."
So what? Gretchen Whitmer's just sitting there, and they're like, "Okay, we need you to do this. Go ahead and do this." She looks at the camera, gives a funny face, and then says, "Okay, if you guys say this is what I should be doing, I'll do this." She's pretty much just turned everything over to her social media team and is taking direction from them.
She is, absolutely, because they've had some success in the past. This is a clear big miss, and I have no idea why she put this out or why she thought that this would have any entertainment value on any level.
So the podcaster is this Canadian feminist. Her name is Liz Plank, and Gretchen Whitmer was joining her for the abortion podcast episode. And at one point during the podcast, Plank asked Whitmer if she ever thought of getting a post-birth abortion on her 2 daughters.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know. I don't even know what that means. But again, back to what you and Rob have talked about for several weeks now, months, years. Abortion is a religion to these people. Everything is about abortion. Let's have a conversation about abortion. I'm sure that if somebody was here in the studio, the conversation about Elon Musk's robots would turn to abortion. They force it into every single conversation. I don't even know what a post-birth abortion is.
And that's the whole thing. They were trying to tie religion into it with giving her a Dorito like it was a Eucharist. That's just the whole thing. The whole thing was creepy.
Again, back to the point that we've made here on this show before. Being against abortion doesn't mean it's completely coming from a religious perspective. You can be, not religious and also be against abortion as well.
Okay, so let's talk about what's going on with Joe Biden. He was asked by reporters about his communications with Netanyahu regarding attacks on Israel and retaliation. His response was that Netanyahu was coming over to help with the storm, which, he's talking about Milton. And by the way, have you noticed how they're totally giving updates constantly about Milton? It's because they swung too far to the extreme.
Right, everybody
They completely
ignored.
blew it on Helene, and now they have to be constantly giving you updates on Milton now. And then a reporter went and asked about if Biden spoke to Trump, and this was his response.
Mr. President, have you spoken before with President Trump at all?
Are you kidding me? Mr. President Trump, former President Trump, get a life, man. Help these people.
Will you hold him accountable? You said you were going to hold those accountable.
Public will hold them accountable. You better than the press hold them accountable because you know the truth.
Do you plan to speak with former President Trump?
No.
Okay, so first of all, did he just quit? He said, Mr. President Trump, get a life, help these people?
Well,
okay,
we all know.
That's your job.
We all know Joe Biden's not the president anymore because we don't see or hear from him very often, and everybody is pretty much ignoring him. So maybe that's what he's just reverting back to the way things used to be when Trump was president. He's inviting Netanyahu to come over and help out with the storm.
Right.
Which, wouldn't that be weird if that turned out to be true? That Netanyahu just shows up and it's like, hey, I brought a bunch of relief money and supplies with me here. And Joe Biden ended
It never
up being,
works that way, does it?
It never works that way.
It never
It
goes
never
that way.
does.
Yeah.
We never get the relief money and we never get supplies for problems that we're having. It's all our money that's going overseas.
Yeah.
But this is the way. Look, we've got 30 days to the election, 28 days, 27 days to the election. This is all it's going to be for the next 4 weeks. It's going to be Joe Biden saying stuff that doesn't make any sense. It's going to be Kamala Harris saying things that don't make any sense. And it's going to be Donald Trump saying things that we all go, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that.
Yeah.
It's 30 days of this.
So he says, Mr. President Trump, get a life, help these people. Keep in mind, Donald Trump just housed nearly 300 linemen at his place in Florida.
And Donald Trump isn't the president.
Isn't the president.
He's not the one that's supposed to be helping these people. He's just running for president. He is helping these people anyway. Still not good enough for Joe Biden. Always got to bring Trump into everything. Everything that the Democrats, especially Biden and Harris, are doing these days. Any question they're asked. The answer is always, well, Trump blew it.
Yeah.
Trump screwed it up. Trump can't do anything. Trump's lying about it.
They always got to bring it back to him, don't they?
Always about Trump.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
Let's now name all the things you would rather do other than move.
Gastro bypass surgery.
And I was just going to go for enema. Same body part, just from different angles.
Takes half as long.
This show is excellent, by the way.
I love it.
You know, we got nominated for a Marconi.
Oh.
We didn't get nominated this year. I don't see another one in our future.
It's like that Colts won Super Bowl championship. We'll always have that.
I was going to put up a finalist banner.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Looking for a fun, friendly alternative to spooky neighborhood trick-or-treating? Join us for Trunk or Treat. At Life Church, we're creating a safe, welcoming space for families. Enjoy a night filled with decorated trunks, tasty treats, games, and community fun, all without the fright. Dress up in your favorite costumes and make lasting memories with friends and neighbors in a cheerful atmosphere. This year, skip the scary and join us for a night of laughter and joy instead. Go to lifechurchin.com for times and locations.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're good at insurance, but not just any insurance. We're good at fireworks don't go in the attic insurance. Hole in window insurance. Even guy that shouldn't have a chainsaw but has a chainsaw insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Denny Smith here. The big fall sale at Sundown Gardens is still happening. Save 20 to 50% off trees and shrubs, 50% off herbaceous perennials and pottery. Take advantage of great fall planting weather and save 20 to 50% on trees now at Sundown Gardens. The nursery's full of great selections and the greenhouse is bursting with great local grown mums, pumpkins, and all your needs for fall decorating. Sundown Gardens is located at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Chris Wedekin here, owner of Absolute Comfort. Our guys' experience brings us to a higher level than most other companies.
Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
There's a new report that came out from Fox 59, and we have to talk about it. Local officials in Logansport, Indiana, sounding the alarm on the huge influx of migrants, and they're causing a strain on the local school system. Hundreds of migrant minors, they're being enrolled in the local schools, and the Haitian student population alone has increased over 1,300% since 2021. Now, of course, you can thank your borders are Kamala Harris for all of this.
Yeah, it's one thing, and we've lived in this life now where we hear stories out of Springfield, and we hear stories about migrant housing problems in New York after they sent immigrants up there from Texas and Florida. And now we're getting a story that's close to home. I mean, Logansport's an hour north of here, and it's a small community, less than 20,000 people in the city of Logansport, and we're getting this, and a great job by Angela Ganote in this reporting, about the strain that it's putting on all the social services there, the hospitals, medical, and really especially the education system. I want to say in her report, there are nearly 30 different languages spoken in the city of Logansport. We're talking about a small town, less than 20,000 people.
Yes, so how do those teachers even communicate with these students, and what about the ones that aren't immigrants? They're being left behind.
Right, and the hospitals and healthcare facilities have been stressed with all of these additional people put in this community. It is what we've been talking about for years that's been happening in communities all over the country, now coming home really close to Indianapolis.
Okay, well, let's listen to Angela Ganote's report. This is from Fox 59.
Logansport, Indiana, a rural city 78 miles north of Indianapolis, known for its diverse urban population of 18,000. People from at least 28 countries now call Logansport home, with at least 27 languages spoken.
Each week. Each week. Okay, you did not say that.
Yeah, each week. So last week they had, my final count that I knew of, they had 16 newcomers.
That week.
That week. And a lot of them are coming unaccompanied.
A startling report from the Cass County Health Department administrator during a September county commissioner meeting. Serenity Alter sits in meetings with new children enrolled in Logansport schools. She listens to them describe their journey to the city.
Most of them fly from Haiti to Nicaragua to Mexico and then to whatever state they're flying to. A lot of them, like we met a couple last week that hadn't seen their parents in about 7 years. It's a eye-opener.
The overall growth of school enrollment jumped by nearly 150 kids in 3 years. This year, there are 207 Haitian students in Logansport schools, up from 14 in 2021. They also have new students from 11 other countries, including Guatemala, Cuba, Honduras, and El Salvador. No one from the health department wanted to do an on-camera interview with us, but they told me the language barrier is a big challenge.
I don't think our school system can contain that many and can sustain what they're doing right now.
So nobody wanted to go on camera and talk about it. Again, that was Angela Ganote from Fox 59 doing that report from Logansport. And that's what's just going to continue to happen. Every small American town is being inundated with illegals. And this is all part of the Biden-Harris import machine. And it's just going to get worse if we have another 4 years of this.
Trump obviously has made this a big priority. If you see a lot of the polls and what's important to people, immigration is still a huge one. And it's because it has this daily effect. It reminds me when, Florida and Texas were sending migrants farther north, and you had people in the media that were making fun of everyday Americans for having the border as their number one concern. This is why that's the case. It's because these sorts of things are happening, and it's directly affecting people's everyday lives. No matter where you live in this country, you don't have to live by the border for this to be a problem anymore.
Yeah, and by the way, I want to point out that was some excellent reporting from Angela Ganote. She used to live in the apartment upstairs from us in South Bend.
30 years ago. 30 years ago. So she and I worked together at WSBT in South Bend long time ago. And she was our neighbor there at Indian Lakes Apartments in South Bend.
She's been in Indianapolis and being very successful for a long time.
Long time, yes.
Yeah. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC. Donald Trump announced that there is another Trump on the way.
Tiffany's husband, Michael, who's a very exceptional young guy, and she's an exceptional young woman, and she's going to have a baby, so that's nice. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Donald Trump already has 10 grandchildren. He's going to welcome another one. Can you imagine if Tiffany didn't want that out there? Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
You just announced to everybody.
I was supposed to release that on my Instagram next week. Now you just spoiled everything. No, can you imagine? He mentioned Tiffany's husband, the father of the baby. You imagine Donald Trump is your father-in-law?
No pressure to be successful,
right? Just a billionaire who was president, is running for president again, and this is your father-in-law. I picture, Trump sitting down with a stern look. If you harm one hair on my daughter's head, and he pulls out the map of the Google image bird's eye view of your house. I am going to hurt your family and destroy your home here. Oh, yeah, I believe you, actually.
Yeah, Tiffany actually been keeping kind of a low profile during all of this, her dad's political rise with everything. She's been in attendance on some of the big events, but now she has a built-in excuse. I've got morning sickness, Dad. I can't go. I can't go to the rally. I'm feeling under the weather today.
She was always, of all the Trump children, kind of in the background, and it seemed like she wanted to do that. I mean, Don Jr. was a big part, and Eric Trump were a big part of the father's administration. Tiffany seems to want to just be a normal person as much as she can, and now she's got a great excuse. Sorry, Dad, can't go to your inauguration. I'm having a baby, not feeling great.
But he seems to really dote on his grandchildren, so this will be one more.
And you said that he's got, so this is number 11 for him.
Yeah.
Oh, good for Donald.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. That's a lot of grandkids. How much fun is that?
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Just when I was getting used to being a single mom to 2 kids, I learned I was about to be laid off. I had no idea how I would make ends meet. Then I heard about the Indiana Emergency Rental Assistance Program, and I applied for help.
This is Diane's story. Indiana renters who are struggling to pay rent can call 211 or visit indianahousingnow.org to apply for rental assistance through this limited time program. We're here for Diane. We're here for renters. We're here for you.
Based on a real story program funded by the U.S. Department of Treasury.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Finding people in trouble. It's 54 and sunny on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Search and rescue continues in parts of Florida hit hard by Hurricane Milton.
Governor DeSantis saying as many as 1,000 rescues by first responders and National Guard, including that 14-year-old boy. Rescuers saw him floating in the water, hanging onto a piece of fence before they pulled him in. He said he was trying to get home. Florida was very aggressive in warning people to get out of the way of this storm, but not everyone listened to those warnings. There's still 2.5 million people without power, but that is changing quickly.
Fox's Steve Harrigan. Former President Trump will be in Colorado today for a sold-out rally in Aurora. The mayor of Aurora is saying that this is an opportunity to show Trump that the city is safe and not overrun by Venezuelan gangs, as the Republican nominee has repeatedly claimed. Extra security will be stationed both inside and outside the venue. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Some slight declines to start the final day of trading this week. The Dow was off 8 to 42,738. The Nasdaq is down 63 to 20,366. And the S&P 500 is down 3 to 5,826. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. That's 800-883-3024.
Are you concerned about rising property taxes? My name is Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor. My plan would limit your property taxes to 1% of the purchase price of your property. It would never increase, and it would end once you've paid for 7 years. To learn more about my plan to make Indiana government less taxing, go to rainwaterforindiana.com and watch the televised gubernatorial debates this October. My name is Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message, paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So in the last segment, we were talking about the report that Angela Ganote did from Fox 59, and you had mentioned that you used to work with her at WSBT in South Bend, and she actually lived in the apartment above us. And there is another famous broadcaster that is an alumni from WSBT in South Bend, and that is Sage Steele. And you worked with her as well, didn't you?
I did. She and I, 30 years ago, worked every Saturday morning together at the radio and television station there in South Bend, and she was my news anchor and did the news. And yeah, I saw Sage every single week. Yeah.
So we've got two examples here of people who have gone on to bigger and better things. What happened to you?
They were smarter than me and had much more successful careers. And hey, I have elevated myself to be Rob Kendall's occasional fill-in on the Kendall and Casey Show. I think I'm doing okay. What are you talking about?
So Sage Steele, she has been really putting her positions out there lately, and most recently pretty much hitting the Trump circuit with Danica Patrick. They've been very much Team Trump, showing up at different events. They've been posing for pictures with Donald Trump, but also in a lot of the Trump gear. And Sage Steele saying that if we truly love this country, we can no longer afford to live in fear. And I think it's people like her and Danica Patrick that are coming out and proudly wearing their Trump gear that is making everyone else feel like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay to say that you're supporting Donald Trump.
It is kind of a new trend that's been developing. There's always been the shy Trump voter, which is what they called it in 2016 and 2020, which is theory as to why a lot of the polls were wrong. It's because people aren't willing to admit that they support Trump. But yeah, the tide is turning and the pendulum is swinging the other way. And lots of props to Sage Steele. She lost her job at ESPN based on her political views. And these really weren't political views that she was talking about on ESPN like a lot of others have. She was very anti-forced vaccinations. She's been come out very strongly against biological males playing in women's sports. And I think that was the position that really did her in at ESPN and why they didn't renew her contract. And now here she is posting on Instagram with her pink quarter zip hoodie that says Women for Trump on it, along with Danica Patrick. So you've got to give credit to somebody who's stood by their convictions, lost her job because of it, and it's not deterring her, and she's going forward.
And a lot of people have been commenting lately, not only is the tide turning for Donald Trump in the polls, but there's just an overall feeling that it's okay to tell people and put it out there. You know what? This is how I feel. She says she doesn't care anymore. It's about policy, not emotion. And she just wishes other people would get over all the emotional stuff, that it's maddening. And, you know, good for her. Like you said, she's willing to risk everything for her convictions.
And she's had the position, and good for her on this, that, you know, I can support who I want to support politically, and we can still be friends. That's okay. And it seems like you see that a lot more from the conservative side of the spectrum, where conservatives are willing to say, hey, you know what, we may not agree politically, and that's okay. We can still be friends. We can still be coworkers. We can still have civil discussions about it. You don't see that nearly as much from the liberal side of the spectrum, where if they have somebody that disagrees with their views, you hear a lot more reports of the liberal just cutting that person out of their lives completely.
She said that people look at her like she's some radical right-wing MAGA extremist, and the party, it's not full of all of that. Even last night I was talking to my sister, and I was telling her about the Trump rally that you and I went to, and she was asking me, so what was the crowd like? And I told her, I was like, just normal, everyday people. It was
a party.
Yeah.
That's what the crowd was like. The crowd was like, it was a party. These people were excited to be in Butler, Pennsylvania. I mean, Trump merch was everywhere. I mean, everybody was wearing either a Trump hat or a Trump shirt. I even saw a guy with Trump sweatpants with Trump's face all over them. It was a party. It was feel good. It was positive.
Yeah, but not everybody was dressed extremely head to toe in Trump gear. Many people had nothing, no Trump anything on, just a normal T-shirt, a flannel shirt, a hoodie, jeans, shorts, just, average, everyday Americans.
Regular people.
Who don't like the way the country's headed and they want to be involved.
And celebrate that.
Yeah.
And celebrate their candidate. And that's really what it was about when we were at that Trump rally in Butler over the weekend.
Okay, so on Monday of this week, I called into the show and kind of gave my rundown of the rally. So you were there, Jim, and we're going to give you an opportunity later on to talk about your experience, what it was like being there as well. But first, let's mention what's going on here in the city of Indianapolis. A 7-member committee, they're investigating those sexual harassment claims. They hired a Chicago-based law firm, Fisher Phillips, to lead the investigation. They one of the reasons that the committee picked this law firm is because they said they have experience handling workplace sexual harassment cases in private and public sectors.
Now, I saw all the news coverage about this. I didn't see the details as to which sexual harassment claims they'll be investigating.
Yeah.
Is it all of
just the above?
Is it just the Thomas Carl Cook claims, or is it the claims that came out right after those claims came out? Is it one or the other? Is it both of them? All of this could have been avoided. This is not new information. I think the earliest claims go back to 2017, if I'm remembering it correctly. Joe Hogsett allegedly refused to do a reasonable investigation at that point in time, kept hiring and employing Thomas Carl Cook, and now here we are all these years, 7 years later, where the city is having to pay some high-priced, high-powered Chicago law firm to come in and do an investigation that I can't even imagine what the final bill is going to be.
Okay, you mentioned high price. One of the reasons that the committee chose this Fisher Phillips firm is because they're licensed to do business here in Indiana, but
they at least got that right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their rate is $595 an hour, and they say that that's a bargain because some of these firms could cost taxpayers up to $1,000 an hour, and also might need to bring in outside experts for certain parts of the investigation. So I don't know about you, but as a resident here of Indianapolis, I feel like I'm getting a deal. It's like they had
You're getting a bargain?
I'm getting a bargain.
Yeah, they found the attorney that's on sale. They had a coupon for that attorney.
They had a coupon. It's like a BOGO. Buy one, get one, right?
Investigate one sexual harassment claim, get one free.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they shopped around then.
They said that they're striving to be good stewards of taxpayers' dollars.
Sure they are. Absolutely. That's exactly what this whole process has been. Stewardship of taxpayer dollars. This has been going on for, approaching nearly a decade, and all could have been put to rest had a reasonable investigation been done first place. And instead, it's going to probably cost us upwards of $500,000 to $1 million. I'm just guessing. Who knows? It could cost a lot more, and it'll probably take forever for this investigation to take place.
Yeah, Hogsett will long be out of office before they reach some sort of finale on this. I feel like that's really good stewardship right there.
Stewardship of
Governance.
our taxpayer dollars
Yeah.
being hired to investigate multiple sexual harassment claims in the mayor's office. It makes you feel good.
Yeah, the committee's going to meet again on November 14th. Okay.
Why didn't I become a lawyer? I'm really good at
I don't know.
arguing.
Why didn't
I
you?
like arguing with people. I think I'm fairly smart.
Fairly.
Sorry, I blew it on that one. If I could go back in time 35 years, I might just go to law school so that I can make $1,000 an hour doing sexual harassment investigations for municipalities. That sounds like
chose poorly.
Terribly.
You wanted a career in radio.
And what did I get? Nothing but ramen. Top ramen.
You get some noodles. Good for you. Okay, so did you see that Guy Fieri with his diners, drive-ins, and dives came to Indianapolis? He was here during the NBA All-Star Weekend.
Did
You
see
remember
this.
back in February?
Yes.
And he kind of snuck into town, did 4 Indianapolis restaurants, and they're all going to be featured on the show starting tonight at 9 o'clock.
Oh, really? It's tonight?
It's tonight.
I can't wait. This has been a bone of contention. Kevin, this has been a bone of contention in our household for years.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Guy Fieri and the Diners, Drive-Ins, and Drives program?
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched it, but yeah, I'm familiar.
I'm a
fan.
huge fan. Casey, not so much.
Yeah.
I love that show. It's very comforting to me. It's on every Friday and Saturday night. Starts at like 7 o'clock in the evening, and you can watch it till like 2 a.m. Every Friday and Saturday night for probably, 20 years now that show's been on Food Network?
Yeah.
I love everything about it. I want to go to all those restaurants. I can't wait to read this article because I'm gonna find all 4 of those indie restaurants. I'm going to go to all 4 of them, try the dishes that were featured on the show. I can't wait. I'm excited.
You know, he doesn't actually drive that car to the locations. They ship that in, and then he sits in it and does the intro.
It's a classic car.
Fake.
No, that is the right way to handle that. That car is a trailer queen. You can't be putting highway miles on a classic Camaro like that.
No,
You've got I can't be driving that
Fake
from Los
Fake
Angeles to
show.
Boston. No, you've got to trailer it everywhere. I got some breaking news for you. TV's fake, Casey.
What?
I know. You may be shocked to find this out, but TV is fake, it turns out.
You always want to watch that show after we've already had a big meal, and I'm sitting there full, and you want to watch a show about food.
But that doesn't mean I could have just played a pickup basketball game. I'll come home and watch the NBA. I don't know why you have to equate the two directly. It's an entertaining show, regardless of whether or not my stomach is full or not. I can't wait. We were just over the weekend at a restaurant in Baltimore that was featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yeah, and they had the baked or fried risotto balls.
That sounds good.
That was their signature item that was featured on this episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and they were on a long time ago, like 10 years ago, but it was fried risotto balls. So it was risotto that they would make into little balls and then put like some panko breadcrumbs on and then deep fry it, and we had those, and they were spectacular.
Yeah, they were really good.
This was an Italian place?
No, it's not.
Pizza joint.
It's a pizza place that has like a skateboard theme.
Oh,
So they're playing like punk rock music in there the whole time, and the walls are decorated with skateboards, and they've got TVs. With normally a sports bar, you'd go in and you'd see TVs, and they'd have a very sporting events on. No, not here. It's all just like skate videos that look like they came from like a VHS in the early 90s.
Right.
It's just
like
guys doing
channel.
flips and tricks on their skateboards, and I'm eating pizza and fried risotto balls, and the food is spectacular. And yeah, it was featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Okay, so when after these air, you can watch all of them and then make a plan, and we'll go visit these restaurants and check out the food. Does that make you happy?
That would make me very happy. And in fact, if we could plan a weekend where we could go to all 4 of these Indianapolis restaurants that Fieri did when he just came to town, knock them all out in one weekend, that would be like a spectacular weekend.
Okay,
for me.
but you can't do. We're rolling out.
We're rolling out. We're
With
rolling out
with his frosted tip hair. Like, come on.
You know what? I gotta give Guy Fieri credit. he has committed to that look beyond when it was fashionable. I mean,
This is
frosted
true.
spiked tips went out when Justin Timberlake left NSYNC in like 2004. It has not been a good look for a long time, but he's still rocking it.
He's going with it.
He is just owning that look, and I love everything about it. Big Guy Fieri fan, big Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives fan, big food fan, and I can't wait to go to those 4 indie restaurants.
All right. Well, the restaurants he went to here in Indianapolis, they start on his show tonight. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
The victims of Hurricane Helene need our help. Go to disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. That's disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. From the Salvation Army and WIBC.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. Recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
And welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
Tua Tagovailoa's wife put herself in it, didn't she? She posted something flattering about Donald Trump, and a lot of people weren't happy about it. Some people were very happy about it. But can we talk about how difficult it is to say his name?
This is the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Mm-hmm. This isn't just some unknown offensive lineman. Just over the summer, he signed what at the time was the single largest contract in NFL history for $250 million. It's a big deal, big-time player. And yes, you need to learn how to pronounce his name. It does not sound like how it's spelled.
Not at all.
And that's what's been throwing you this whole time. It looks like Tagovailoa.
Yeah, something like that. No,
it's
you're saying Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa.
It reminds me of Apalachicola Bay down by Florida.
Yeah.
It took a while to learn how to say that.
A lot of syllables in that last name. Tua Tagovailoa, former quarterback at Alabama, and now at the Miami Dolphins.
So his wife was posting about how Donald Trump was housing all those linemen, and people were not happy about that. She said, you are amazing. The Trump family, entire state of Florida appreciates you. And so people came at her. Some people were saying that she was a brave, strong woman. Good for her. That's a good woman. And then others were, saying that the only reason she was supporting Donald Trump was because of their tax bracket.
What we just talked about on the last break, it is starting to become where people are not shy about their support for Trump anymore. It's okay to publicly support Donald Trump. And like we talked about with Sage Steele and Danica Patrick and them coming out forcefully for Trump in social media. Brittany Mahomes, wife of Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, has come out and supported Donald Trump. Now we've got the wife of Tua Tagovailoa doing something similar. It's interesting that these are all coming from the sports world, which traditionally, especially from the sports media side, has been extraordinarily liberal, that these athletes and media representatives and their families are coming out for Trump, and I love to see it, and they just got to know that when you do that, you're going to catch some blowback from the liberals.
Okay, so Tua, he's still following that concussion protocol, right?
Tua's still out. Tua's the one that took that hit a couple of weeks ago that was just brutal, had to be carted off the field. He is not going to be playing this weekend. He is still out.
Coming up, we've got some reactions from Ron DeSantis, what he is saying, and the economy ranking #1 issue for Republican voters still. What is #1 for Democrats? We'll get to that on the way from 93 WIBC.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his $1 trillion spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new office of environmental justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
As summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-494-5004 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Eligible Hoosiers, listen up. Election Day is November 5th. This is a reminder from the Indiana Secretary of State. Make a plan to get to the polls and vote. Indiana's elections are safe, secure, and transparent. Go to indianavoters.com to find polling locations, volunteer to work at the polls, and more information for Election Day. Make your vote count this Election Day, November 5th. This message is brought to you by your Indiana Secretary of State.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
JMV here. The big fall sale at Miss M's Home and Garden is still happening. Save 20 to 50% off trees and shrubs, 50% off herbaceous perennials, 30% off in-stock patio furniture, and more. Not only is the fall sale happening, but they have a great selection of local grown mums, pumpkins, and all your decorating needs. Take advantage of great planting weather and save right now at Miss M's. That is Miss M's on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
Can you hear me?
So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the Delphi defense wants to call this man as a witness for next week's trial, plus where most of Indiana's school voucher money is going, and where this player is stacking up as he gets back with an emphatic return to the Indiana Pacers. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers studios. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
It's another day, picking up the pieces from Hurricane Milton. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're going to come back. We're not going to play the victim and lay down.
Bradenton Beach Mayor John Chappie dealing with cleanup from 2 hurricanes in 2 weeks in Florida, but he tells Fox.
So much to be grateful for. No deaths. My neighbors hopefully will come back and rebuild on these homes that have been totally destroyed.
Some of Milton's damage also from tornadoes Wednesday.
As soon as the windows exploded, I grabbed the 2 dogs that I had with me, and then I ran into the bedroom. I threw them under the bed.
And Connor Farron tells Fox he didn't find his cat till yesterday, alive, luckily. But his house in Fort Myers is a loss.
It's got 1 bedroom left. The parts that still are remaining standing, like the ceiling that still is there, is beginning to collapse.
Milton's blamed for at least 17 deaths. There are still almost 2.5 million power outages. The UN caught in the crossfire again in Lebanon. An Israeli strike near the headquarters of its peacekeeping forces injured 2 more members. Other Israeli strikes in Beirut killed at least 22 people. Hezbollah fire into Israel killed a farmer. And as war rages there, something dating back to the end of World War II.
A Japanese grassroots organization of survivors of the U.S. atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki has won the Nobel Peace Prize. Nihon Hidankyo is known for its activism against nuclear weapons. About 114,000 survivors of the bombings are still alive.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Trump supporters already lining up in Aurora, Colorado for the former president's rally later today, highlighting problems a Venezuelan gang of migrants caused there. Fox's Aisha Hosni reports.
Democratic Governor Jared Polis also trying to get ahead of this visit here, writing the former president will find, quote, an incredible city with 2 straight years of rapidly declining crime. Here's the thing, though. Aurora police reports an increase of crime in that specific area, those apartment complexes.
There'll also be a Trump rally in Reno, Nevada. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Who they want to bring in. Radar is clear. It is 57 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. The defense in the Delphi murders case wants Keegan Klein to testify. Klein is the man behind an online profile which communicated with Libby German in the days before she and Abby Williams were killed. He's now in prison for child porn. The defense has motioned that Klein be brought to the Carroll County Courthouse to testify as a witness. The trial starts on Monday. Restoring abortion rights in Indiana is a top priority for Democrat Jennifer McCormick.
I'm Donnie Burgess. The McCormick campaign team released its Common Sense abortion rights plan Thursday, detailing executive actions McCormick would take if elected governor in November. Those actions include prioritizing reproductive health in the state budget and creating a more supportive regulatory environment for clinics who may find themselves backed into a legal corner when it comes to abortions. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
This as the ACLU and Planned Parenthood are appealing a decision by a superior court not to hear their case looking to expand exceptions to the state's abortion ban. The Indiana Court of Appeals now taking up the case. You've heard some critics of Indiana's expanded school voucher program say that it would take more money out of public schools. Well, a recent survey shows that the opposite is happening.
That's the largest type of school choice in Indiana, with people choosing a different public school district than the one that they live in.
Betsy Wiley is with the Institute for Quality Education on Indy Politics. She says that the survey shows Hoosiers overwhelmingly support the state's current school choice policies. A boy badly hurt in a hit-and-run crash overnight. It was in Cumberland on the far east side. The boy was on a bike when police say that witnesses say that he was hit by a car and then the driver did not stick around. A victory for the Indiana Pacers in preseason play, anchored by a big night from Benedict Mathurin.
And getting his own rebound, and now from the left side, a three on the way good. That's Mathurin.
He had 25 points and is coming off a shoulder injury that ended his season early last year. The Pacers beating Cleveland 129-127. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, October 11th, 5 minutes after 10. You are listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. My name is Casey Daniels. Rob Kendall, he's got the day off, and Jim Roberts is in the studio. So last night, many Hoosiers treated to a beautiful show in the sky. The Northern Lights were visible for many. You, of course, were sleeping.
I go to bed early. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy. And yeah, I did miss the Northern Lights last night.
I did go out and try to see them. I didn't see any, though. I think maybe there were too many city lights.
Yeah, living in the city like we do, there's a lot of light pollution. I think you were going to have a hard time anyway, regardless. But being so close to the city and all the lights made it even harder. Be interesting to hear if anybody from farther out in the suburbs and farther out in the rural areas saw any of the Northern Lights here.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of pictures, people posting their Northern Light pics online, and lots of pink and green is what I saw. And the pink means that those excited atomic oxygen levels were at high altitudes. That means that was 150 miles away. And the green meant that it was about 60 miles away.
You're getting all sciencey on me here?
Yeah.
All I know is they're pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I know.
That was nice. Well, if you missed it last night, sorry, that was your chance because it's not supposed to be visible tonight.
This far south, it's highly unlikely that we'll get any Northern Lights here in central Indiana. But farther up north, like they always have a better chance of seeing them than we do. You might get some tonight if you're up in Michigan or farther up north than that.
Yeah, and another beautiful day across central Indiana. Of course, a little different than what they're experiencing down South Florida. Many Florida residents repairing damages from Hurricane Milton, cleaning up debris after that storm. Completely smashed through those coastal communities, tore houses apart, flooded streets, deadly tornadoes. It's being reported that at least 16 people died due to those storm and those tornadoes. Of course, that just arriving 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene, the roof of the Tampa Bay Rays baseball stadium blew off. There was a construction crane toppling over, and dozens of rescues were conducted across the area as well.
For as shocking as those videos of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays baseball stadium and the roof, it had one of those soft roofs like the old Silverdome up outside of Detroit, where the roof is kept supported by air pressure inside the stadium, and so they damage and fall, crumble very easily. But if you've ever been to a Tampa Bay Rays baseball game there in Tampa, the roof collapsing actually may be an improvement on that stadium, because it is one of the absolute biggest dumps in all of Major League Baseball, and just a terrible
It's older,
state.
isn't it?
But it's not as old as you think. I think it's maybe 20 years old, maybe 25 years old. Certainly not the oldest in Major League Baseball by a long shot. But man, is that a dumpy stadium.
They've got the Rays there that you can go see. They have a water tank full of Rays.
Oh, I love going to the games there because they're a lot of fun, and tickets are really cheap on the secondary market because nobody wants to go to because they usually are terrible teams. But yeah, they've got a Devil Ray tank that you can go up and actually reach your hand into the water, and you can pet the Rays that are swimming in the water. There's a couple of other cool thing about the Tampa Stadium.
What's that?
They've got a huge bobblehead display.
Oh, that's right.
Hundreds and hundreds of bobbleheads in this big glass case that are on display in the concourse. So those are two redeeming qualities of the Devil Ray Stadium in Tampa.
Yep, a lot of people down in Florida trying to get back to their homes to see what is left of them, if they were destroyed, if they were spared. Finding gas still a challenge right now. Some of the fuel stations are still closed as far away as Ocala, and many people having to take a lot of long drives to do that. It's such a bummer, man. Category 3 reached Siesta Key, and we vacation in Siesta Key.
Love Siesta Key.
One of my favorite places.
Some of the most beautiful beaches.
It's just such a bummer that those people, what they're going through. Ron DeSantis was reacting. A reporter was asking him about what some Wall Street Journal analysts said, that the damage from Milton could cost around $50 billion. And here's what Ron DeSantis had to say.
Some Wall Street analysts predicted that Milton's losses could exceed $50 billion. Does the state have any sort of...
How the hell would a Wall Street analyst be able to know? It's been dark all day. What, you just going to know that you're going to do? I mean, like, give me a break on some of this stuff. They're doing damage assessments now.
I just love it when he loses patience with the journalists or the reporters.
Do not mess with Ron DeSantis when he is in boss mode. And he has been in boss mode for the last couple of weeks because of these hurricanes. And he's not taking any crap off of anybody. And he's going to give it right back to you. So, yeah, this could have been the guy that was running for president under the Republican ticket.
Nope. Iowa had different plans, didn't they?
Iowa kind of kicked him down. And so now we've got Trump again. But, yeah, DeSantis has by all accounts, done an amazing job as governor of Florida during these two hurricanes the last couple of weeks.
Here he is shutting down a CNBC host that accused him of politicizing Hurricane Milton, and this is how you handle the fake news.
I am working with the President of the United States. I'm working with the Director of FEMA. I'm marshaling all my state assets. We've been doing this now nonstop for over 2 weeks between Helene and this. And so if there's anything I can leverage to benefit my people, I'm going to do it. The fact of the matter is they put out a story saying I didn't even know she was trying to reach me, but she has no role in this process. And I've been dealing with these storms in Florida under both Trump and Biden. Neither of them ever politicized it. And in fact, all the storms I've dealt with under this administration, although I've worked well with the president, she has never called in Florida. She has never offered any support. So what she's doing is she's trying to inject herself into this because of her political campaign. So as the governor here who's leading this, I don't have time for those games. I don't care about her campaign. Obviously, I'm not a supporter of hers, but she has no role in this process. And so I'm working with the people I need to be working with. We're leveraging the resources I need to be leveraging. And for her to try to say that my focus should be on catering to her rather than worrying about my own people just shows she doesn't understand what it means to respond to these natural disasters.
I just love it when he does that, because they're saying that he's politicizing it, and he's like, listen, I'm trying to take care of the people of Florida. She's the one who's trying to inject herself in this, where she hasn't been all along. No previous storm had she been around. And then all of a sudden, she wants to be president, and now she's trying to get involved.
Just crystal clear, plain spoken, and logical. I mean, that's what I love about Ron DeSantis, is he just summarizes difficult situations and does not take crap from anybody. Why would he talk to Kamala Harris?
He doesn't need her.
She's only the vice president. That's not what they do. In fact, vice presidents don't do much. It's much more likely he'd talk to somebody like Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi, because they actually have more power than a vice president does anyway. Yeah, exactly. So there's no reason to talk to any vice president, regardless of who it is in this specific situation. And why the media keep asking about it, I'll never know. It's probably because they think Kamala's the president. Because because everybody forgets that Joe Biden's the president.
Yeah, I just love how he just cuts through. He gets it done. He's taking care of business, and he calls them out on their nonsense as well. So this is what we're dealing with. You've got Hurricane Milton, which threatened millions of lives, and you have the vice president on a TV show with Stephen Colbert cracking a beer. So you can see the crystal clear difference between their character and their leadership. You've got Americans up to the thousands who have lost everything. Their homes, possessions, even loved ones in North Carolina and the surrounding states. And then you've got Hurricane Milton in Florida. And what is the vice president doing? She's having a beer with Stephen Colbert.
One of the old saws is, they just want somebody they can have a beer with. So would you like to have a beer with me so I can tell people what that's like? Okay. Nope. This was... Now, we asked ahead of time, because I can't just be giving a drink to the Vice President of the United States without asking. You asked for Miller High Life. You wrote Miller High Life. I'm just curious.
Okay, the last time I had beer was at a baseball game with Doug.
Okay, so cheers. There
cheers.
There you go. Ooh. That tastes like the beautiful city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Champagne and beers.
There you go.
Okay, so obviously that selection of beer was intentional, but
clearly,
I wish he would have asked her a follow-up question and, really, what baseball game was that?
Right, nobody believes...
To see if that was true or not.
Nobody believes that Kamala's had a beer in the last 20 years. Nobody believes she went to a baseball game, although...
I believe she's had a beer in the last 20 years. I think she's had a couple of
Too
them.
many beers in the last 20 years? I do have to give her props. Miller High Life, strong choice.
It is a good beer?
Strong... I don't want to... That's a stretch. It's a...
Champagne of beers!
It is... It's an old school beer.
Yeah.
It's an old school beer that still has some, staying power behind it.
But the point is, how tone deaf is she? I mean,
she's
there
been that
are
way this whole time.
These major events that are happening that are just destroying southern states. And she's having a beer.
It's not stopping her from campaigning, is it? It's not stopping her from going on every single talk show, is it?
It's completely tone deaf on her part. And it's a warning. It's a warning to voters. That's what you're going to get. If you vote for her, you're going to get someone who does not care about you at all. All she cares about is herself.
And proved it. So in the first hurricane, she was out doing a fundraiser in Las Vegas. Didn't come back from that until the weekend was over.
And then they started getting heat for it. And what did she want to do? Inject herself right in when Milton came.
And now hurricane number 2, while it was coming through, what was she doing? She was sitting down for a photo shoot and an interview with Vogue, and she was doing the talk show circuit with Colbert.
Yep. It is the Kendall and Casey show. It's 93 WIBC. Coming up, we're going to talk about the Gallup poll saying what is the most important issues for Republicans and Democrats. And spoiler alert, they don't match at all. It's 93 WIBC.
It's been a long slog.
Disaster for working people.
This is the worst response to a hurricane ever.
Now, there are less than 4 weeks to go.
Everyone goes out and votes.
The choice is in sight.
Somebody said...
He said...
She's incompetent.
And he's trying to gaslight people all over our country.
And it's not going to get any more polite.
We cannot be stopped.
I will get caught up in the rhetoric. We'll follow it all to the finish on your 2024 election information station, 93 WIBC.
Looking for a great place to go for car care?
Hi, this is Lonnie Hinkle from Jiffy Lube, and I'd like to share the top 5 reasons that every Hoosier should trust Jiffy Lube to help keep their car running safe and well. Number 5, our computer system holds the maintenance data for every make and model. We know exactly what your car needs and when it needs to be done. Number 4, Jiffy Lube's training system is in the Training Magazine Hall of Fame. Along with companies like Ritz-Carlton, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's, our team does the job right. Number 3, you never need an appointment. We are ready to serve you whenever it works best for you, so come on in and see us. Number 2, Jiffy Lube accepts competitor coupons so you can get our great service at the desperate price of our competitors. And number 1, Jiffy Lube is a one-stop maintenance shop, and we make it easy for you to take great care of your car. Avoid the repair shop by getting your maintenance done at Jiffy Lube. And we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores.
So head to Jiffy Lube. There's really no reason to take your car anywhere else.
Hey, it's Robin. I've put my name behind Garage Doors of Indianapolis for the past 7 years because they're a local conservative company that does quality work on time. In many ways, Garage Doors of Indianapolis is the perfect Hoosier. Recently, they helped my family in a garage door pinch by arriving on site quickly and fixing the problem right away. For all of your garage door needs, call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 317-875-4577. 317-875-4577. Or visit them at doorstoday.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hi, it's T. Brian Hayes here from the Retirement Money Matters Show. It is time for our question and answer show for October, and we have many great questions to answer this month, including a question about saving in a traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA, one on how to redo a Social Security election, and another on a common misconception about Roth IRA conversions. Find out the answer to these questions and many more on the Retirement Money Matters Show, which airs this Saturday morning at 6 a.m. right here on WIBC.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
There is no overlap at all between GOP and Democratic voters for their top 5 issues. This ranked from Gallup poll. And boy, it really does show you the difference between what is important to Republicans and what is important to Democrats. So let's go over this poll. And keep in mind, this is a Gallup poll. So this is a poll that is pretty much down the middle.
Right. This isn't a Twitter poll, unscientific, totally Wild West, where you get some random results. This is a well-respected, maybe the most well-respected polling agency, done scientifically. This is about as accurate as a snapshot as you're going to find.
Okay, so they list the top 5 issues for Republican voters and the top 5 issues for Democratic voters.
Okay.
And here they are. We'll go from 5 to 1 for Republican voters. Number 5, taxes. And then crime, terrorism and national security, immigration, and then the top issue is economy.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Now, for Democratic or Democratic-leaning independent voters, you've got from 5 to 1, 5, education, then healthcare, abortion.
There it is.
Types of Supreme Court justices, candidates, and then the number 1 issue for Democrat voters is democracy in the United States. So what this shows me is that Republicans are rightly focused on the economy because, well, that's the bedrock of the nation's prosperity and security. You can't do anything if you don't have the money.
It was James Carville during the Clinton years that said it's the economy, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what every election always comes down to. And my guess is one insight into this is Democrats aren't concerned about the economy. It's because it's not that great, and they don't want to make that a big issue because it doesn't look good for their candidate who's an incumbent.
Or it doesn't affect them because the party is full of elites, so there are many families that are struggling with rising prices and unstable markets. You've got your food prices and debt, and It's clear that a strong economy should be the top priority, but the Democrats, on the other hand, they seem really distracted by issues that don't directly affect every single American. Well, the economy affects everybody.
And then the secondary issues with the Republicans on that are all about safety and security. The border, terrorism. You could even lump what was fifth, taxes. That's even kind of an economy sort of thing. Yet you go to the Democrat side, and that's none of it. The economy and safety and security aren't anywhere near there. It's Supreme Court justices, it's abortion, it's healthcare, it's education. And yes, there has been a huge flip the last 20 years in politics because the Democrats are now the party of the rich. They're the party of billionaires and the party of elites. And when you've got that kind of money, a bad economy doesn't hurt you that bad.
Democrats failing to recognize that they've completely lost touch with the American family. If you want to get back on track, it's going to take some conservative leadership to prioritize the economy, to create jobs, security, stability for all. But having said that, the Republicans need to do what they say they're going to do. Oh, we're conservative. You mean fiscally conservative? Okay, quit spending money.
Just like Todd Young is conservative, right? He's a conservative, isn't he?
Yeah.
Spent more money than anybody else in Congress, but he's a conservative, sure.
According to this Gallup poll, they found that Donald Trump was better able to handle the economy than Kamala Harris, 54 to 45%. So
that's not close.
That's not close at all.
That's not close at all.
That's a big difference.
And I wonder if that factors into how Democrats view is what is important. Because if you know your candidate stinks on that topic, like Kamala does on the economy, all of a sudden abortion and health care becomes a little bit more important to you because you know your candidate is terrible on the economy.
Well, by prioritizing abortion and health care over economic stability, they're just showing their disconnect with everyday Americans who are just trying to put food on the table, just trying to save for their future, just, gas in the car so you can go to work, pay for rent, things that you need to live.
And things that, like you said, touch you every single day. They're an important part of every single day. Who sits on the Supreme Court, which was number 2 for the Democrat list, is not something that affects you on a day-to-day basis.
If you can't eat, you can't do anything.
If
you
do
can't
anything
afford
else.
food,
You can't drive to your job because you can't afford your car. You can't afford gas. Everything, nothing else matters at that point.
Are you surprised by this? I'm not surprised.
I am a little surprised by it because we've seen a lot of, and this is the first time I've seen it broken out by political party, but we've seen that the border is a big problem for the population in general. The economy and inflation are big problems for the population in general, but those 3 topics are not anywhere near that list as far as Democrat priorities go.
It really just shows you where we are and where we've, how far we've gone, because back in 2008, the economy was the most important issue for both parties. And now the economy doesn't even show up for Democrats.
Not anywhere on the list for Democrats.
Not on the list at all.
They're worried about their abortion and their health care and their education.
Donald Trump, here he is saying what he believes the biggest threat to democracy is.
You see, that's the real threat to democracy, stupid people. That's the threat. Our biggest threat to democracy is stupid people.
Now, he said that, but then he turned around. He was in Michigan last night. He was in Detroit, and he said some ridiculous things on his own.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
Like he always does. Here he is talking about Detroit. It's number 11, Kevin, if you have that, yeah.
Talking about today is high on her list. The whole country is going to be like, you want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president. You're going to have a mess on your hands.
He's in Detroit.
He's in Detroit.
Speaking in front of an auditorium full of people from Detroit. And he's sitting there going, man, this place is a dump. And if you elect Kamala, the whole country's going to be just like this place.
We don't want the whole country to be like Detroit. And this is coming from someone who lived outside of Detroit.
Yes, as 2 people who lived in Detroit at one point in time in their lives. Can confirm, not a great place, Detroit. Not at all.
Isn't that weird? We both lived in Detroit at the same time, worked at the same mall at the same time, and didn't meet each other until we moved out of Detroit.
That is an interesting part of it. I just go back to what I said earlier. This is what we're going to have. We're going to have nonsense the next 30 days. Nonsense from Biden, nonsense from Kamala, and Trump saying, oh my, and us listening to Trump going, oh my God, I can't believe he said that.
I can't believe he said that.
And that's a perfect example of that. I can't believe he just told all of these people in the crowd in Detroit that your city's a dump and the country's headed that way if we elect Kamala.
But we don't want the country to be like Detroit. Guaranteed. You don't want that.
You do not want that. As somebody who's you used to work in Detroit, in the city, downtown.
I did. I used to travel down the famed 8 Mile to get to downtown Detroit, and it's you don't want to be down there after dark.
You do not stop. That's the number one tip they give
No,
you.
you don't.
I don't care what's happening in the road. I don't care if there are people standing in the road. I don't care if there's a couch on fire in the road, which I have seen before in Detroit. You do not stop. You keep moving. You
Roll
keep
up the
moving.
windows, lock the doors, just keep on going. We've got some voicemails coming up next. It is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Digging through the damage, radar is clear. It is 60 degrees and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. It's another day of damage assessment and cleanup across parts of Florida hit by Hurricane Milton.
We're staying with a friend over off the island, but she doesn't have electricity either. Nobody has electricity. I see some of the stoplights are working, but not many of them.
That man living in Sarasota, Milton made landfall near there Wednesday night as a powerful Category 3 hurricane, bringing with it torrential rain, strong winds, and tornadoes that left at least 16 people dead. Mixed results on inflation for the month of September. Fox's Jenny Casola.
The producer price index for September is mixed. Inflation at the wholesale level was flat in September from August, and core PPI, excluding food and energy, rose 0.2%. Both of those numbers improved. However, the PPI for the year ending in September increased to 1.8%, and core PPI rose to 2.8%. Jenny Coselda, Fox News.
I'm Kirk Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Just when I was getting used to being a single mom to 2 kids, I learned I was about to be laid off. I had no idea how I would make ends meet. Then I heard about the Indiana Emergency Rental Assistance Program, and I applied for help.
This is Diane's story. Indiana renters who are struggling to pay rent can call 211 or visit indianahousingnow.org to apply for rental assistance through this limited time program. We're here for Diane. We're here for renters. We're here for you.
Based on a real story program funded by the U.S. Department of Treasury.
Are you concerned about rising gasoline taxes? I'm Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor. Hoosiers currently pay sales tax and excise tax on gasoline to the state. No one should pay 2 taxes for gasoline. So my plan is to abolish the gasoline excise tax in Indiana. To learn more about my plan to make Indiana government less taxing, go to rainwaterforindiana.com. My name is Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message. Paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
Based on the last 17 years, we feel like American Standard is the best in the market.
That's Chris Wedekin, owner of Absolute Comfort, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
Here we go with the Friday edition of your voicemails at 317-684-8444. It's when we turn the program over to you. Questions, comments, smart remarks, whatever you have, whatever's on your mind. And we start with this phone call. Somebody wanted to talk about Tim Walz, how he said that the Electoral College needs to go. He said we need a national popular vote, but that's not the world we live in. No kidding, Tim Walz.
And what an awful take that is. I mean, people forget this so often is it's in the name of our country, the United States of America. We have a loose, weak central government, or at least that's the way it's supposed to be, and strong states' rights. And that is the way things have always been done. It's states elect the president, not the people directly through their popular vote. And you know what? To Tim Walz's point, he can change that. All it takes is an amendment to the Constitution. Good luck with that. It takes 2/3 Congress and 3/4 of the states ratifying it for something to become an amendment. Not a chance that is ever going to happen.
Well, here's a phone call about that.
Hi, Tim Walz said we needed to get rid of the Electoral College, which doesn't make any sense because it's part of the Constitution. So what he's really saying is we need to get rid of the Constitution. The truth is we really need to get rid of Tim Walz.
No kidding. He has walked that back, by the way, 2 days later. Of course, surprise. He says something, and then he has to walk it back a few days later.
Did he call himself a knucklehead?
He said he misspoke.
You never know what's going to come pouring out of my face.
He said the point I'm trying to make is that there's folks that feel every vote must count in every state, and I think some folks feel that's not the case. Okay, so in 2023, he signed the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact, which is an agreement in which each state would allocate all of its electoral votes to whoever wins the popular vote for president, regardless of how individual states voted. So he meant it. He's trying to walk it back, but guess what? He meant every word of what he said.
He's accidentally said the quiet part out loud, and that sounds like a very fancy document. The
National Popular Vote Interstate Compact.
Wow, that's a totally non-binding document that will get you absolutely nothing, except a lot of virtue signaling.
So pretty much, he spoke, he got slapped on the wrist by somebody, and then walked it back.
And by somebody, you mean Kamala.
Well, whoever is running the Democrat Party at this point, who's ever
You mean
acting as president for the country?
Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi.
No, that's yeah. Okay, here's a phone call. This one is about Donald Trump.
Hey, Casey, Rob. Hey, welcome back, Casey. This is your always Trumper from Fishers. So glad you had a great time at the rally. I'm jealous that you were able to go and experience that. What a memorable thing. So hopefully it'll carry through to the election. I mean, it will without the massive fraud that's coming. Anyway, hey, Rob, I'm just wondering, why do you even give a crap about Greg Doyle?
Had to get that question in. Okay, so
shall we get to talk about Greg Doyle?
Should we just do a little Greg Doyle update?
Yeah, please. Do you have an update?
Well, I mean, I've got a small update.
So if you didn't listen to yesterday's show, Greg Doyle, sports reporter for the Indianapolis Star, at some point in time, blocked Rob Kendall on Twitter. And when somebody blocks you, you're not notified of that. You don't get an app alert that says, hey, Greg Doyle blocked you. And so Rob has no idea when it took place, and so it was a big conversation on yesterday's show.
Well, then he sent Rob a message saying, hey, brother, pray for me, something along those lines. And Rob was curious exactly what was he supposed to pray for. And we were trying to open a dialogue with Greg Doyle. And I sent him a message on Twitter and said, hey, we got the message. Do you want to come on the show and discuss? And he did reply via Twitter. He said, hey, Casey, no interest in that. Just trying to set things right in my own little way. So I don't know what he's trying to set right.
And what was wrong.
And what was wrong.
If you're trying to set something right, that implies that something at some point was wrong.
I don't know if he was trying to set it right that he blocked Rob. By the way, I followed Greg Doyle. He has not followed me back.
But he hasn't blocked you yet either.
He hasn't blocked me either.
Give it time.
But he also doesn't want to come on the show. He has no interest in that. I think it would be quite a conversation if the two of them could sit down for a minute to discuss whatever.
Sure, a couple of very opinionated, one opinionated radio talk show and the Kendall and Casey show, and you've got an opinionated sports writer in Greg Doyle. That would be, I'd definitely tune in for that, that's for sure.
So Rob still doesn't know what he did to make Greg Doyle block him, other than the conversations we had right after the Caitlin Clark,
Greg Doyle incident.
Right. Greg Doyle heart hands greeting with Caitlin Clark when she first came to town.
Where he single-handedly embarrassed the entire city in front of the world. Just that. That's all.
That's all. So I don't know. We'll see where this goes. Of course, Rob is off today, so it's not going to go any further than this for today. But I'm guessing on Monday, something's going to get stirred up.
To answer the caller's question, we have no idea what's going on with Greg Doyle, but we're really trying to find out. We're doing our best.
We're trying, but he said he's just trying to set things right in his own little way. Okay. Oh, and by the way, back to the original call about the Trump rally. You were there.
I was at the Trump rally with you last Saturday in Butler, Pennsylvania. It was fabulous.
Yeah. Any extra thoughts on that?
If you want to go to a big Trump rally, you got to really want it.
Yeah, you do. It's a long day, isn't it?
It is a long day. So they recommended that everybody be there. I think the cut was
7 a.m. is when they opened.
And they said everybody should be in
by 1.
By 1, which was 4 hours before the program started. And there's not a lot to do, and you're hanging out in essentially what is like a county fair grounds setup. We stood in line for just over an hour to go through the metal detectors. And then you're there all day long. I mean, we were there for 8-9 hours that day. You've got to really want it. But it was a really cool event. It was a very neat experience to see. We, like we always tend to do, stumble our way into incredible behind-the-scenes access.
Yeah.
And we're seated directly behind Trump and Elon Musk, and had just an incredible view of everybody. We were literally 20 feet away from Trump and Elon Musk for the entire rally, and it was a sight to behold. And now I can say I've been to a big Trump rally.
And I don't think that I could go to another one at this point, because nothing would top that.
Nothing would compare to that. Yes, it was an incredible amount. Great speakers. J.D. Vance was there, and
the kids were there,
and Eric Trump and Laura Trump were there. It was that was the one to go to, and we lucked out and went to the right one for sure.
Here's another phone call. This one also about Greg Doyle.
Nice to have you back, Casey. Kendall.
Mr. Rob. Hey, why are you concerned about someone blocking you? Does that offend you or concern you? I didn't think that would. Just a question, a thought about it. Bye-bye.
I don't think he's offended or concerned. I think he just wants to know why.
Just wants to know why. He's just kind of having some fun and poking the bear. That's all.
Yeah.
It's all just good-natured fun.
All right, one more voicemail, and this one is regarding FEMA.
On the back and forth bickering between Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris concerning the FEMA or federal reaction to the devastation we've had down south. Why doesn't someone ask for a detailed release of what agencies were activated, when they were activated, where they went, who their ground contact was, times and dates? Let's get some details. If Joe Biden's going to stand there and call President Trump a liar, and Kamala Harris is going to slam DeSantis, well, show us some details. Back up what you say. Thanks for the show and keep up the good work. Thank you.
So what do you think? Biden and Harris just going to voluntarily provide all that detailed information about how they've dropped the ball and were slow to respond to this?
No way.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Of course not. And even if you wanted to take this really hard, that FEMA is part of the executive branch. So Congress, I guess if they wanted to, could issue some sort of subpoena for those documents or for those leaders of those agencies to appear in front of Congress. But the president can always claim executive privilege.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen this fight go on before, and this is why we've got, different branches of government and the checks and balance that exist between those branches of government. The Congress can subpoena all they want to, people and documents from the executive branch, and the executive branch doesn't have to provide it. So there's not a chance. People can ask for this information all they want to. There's not a chance that Harris and Biden are going to provide it.
Well, you can want transparency, but it's not in their best interest because they can sit there and blame Donald. It's the same game over and over again. We mess up on something, we blame Donald Trump.
Inflation?
It's Donald
Trump's fault.
It's everything.
Hurricanes? Donald Trump's fault. FEMA?
Right.
Donald Trump's fault.
Yeah. So, of course, they would have no interest in putting any of that out there because as soon as they do, you would know the facts and then they can't blame Donald Trump. All right, we've got Brad Kloppenstein who's going to join us in just a few minutes. But before he does,
yes,
it's time for a round of Things People Say on the Internet. All right, here we go. We start off with this person. This is a man on the street. Guy's asking this young girl how many countries in Africa she can name.
Random.
How many countries in Africa do you think you could name?
3 or 4, maybe. How much time do I have?
Yeah, well, this person is impressive.
How many countries in Africa can you name?
Chad, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, South Africa, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti, Kenya, Libya, Liberia, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda. That's all I can think of right now.
That's amazing. You crushed it.
That was great.
And at the end, she apologizes. Oh, that's all I can think of right now.
Sorry.
I just gave you 20 off the top of my head.
I know. And then you compare that to other videos that you see on the internet where people can't even figure out what state in the United States something is just by looking at the shape of the state.
Most internet videos like that are dumb people.
Right.
That's to your point. It's a dumb person.
He
so
was trying to make her look foolish, and she brought
rare
it.
when you stumble upon somebody that is wicked smart about some obscure topic like that. She crushed it. Yeah, I probably could have named 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. Not. I wouldn't have done as good as she did.
She would have killed me.
Yeah. Okay, so here's another one. Things people say on the internet. This is an HOA president abusing his power.
I'm the HOA president, all right? And I'm kind of fuming right now, but I'm trying to find people cool, right? But you're sitting in here with the garage door open, and it's open way too long. It needs to be closed.
I mean, what do you mean it needs to be closed?
If you bother to take a look at your bylaws, section 3, I think it's paragraph 2.
No, yeah, hey, look, I completely understand. Look, I'll have it closed in just a moment. I'm just waiting on my kids.
Just a moment, it doesn't work. When your kids are here, then you can reopen the door. Put the window down, all right? I don't want to be talking through the glass. Don't be rude. Put the window down. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Look, preach to him, bro. Thank you for the concerns. Look,
Shut up.
if anything happens,
It's more than a concern. I'm actually going to fine you $150. The bylaws, that's it says.
And you're going to fine me for keeping my garage door open?
Exactly. Yes, you caught on quick. I'm glad I didn't have to keep repeating myself. Wait. Hey, I'm a veteran, my friend. I served my country. You're going to pay the $150 fine.
Okay, look, you can take that fine. You can shove it somewhere else. This conversation's over. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you imagine your HOA president he was on a scooter, rolling into your garage while you're sitting in the car and telling you that you've kept your garage door open too long, you have to shut it, and that he's going to fine you with $150.
And then he gets chippy at the guy in the car. Roll your window down. You're being rude to me while I'm trying to yell at you about your garage door.
This is somebody who's just abusing his power and authority.
We must have gotten lucky because in all the neighborhoods and all the HOAs that we've been a part of, we've never had this problem where they're just so aggressive. And in fact, the opposite has been true at the HOAs we've been a part of. Nobody wants to serve and be treasurer or vice president or president. They beg people to show up to the meetings and participate in it. That's fortunately my HOA experience. I can't imagine a regulation as to how long you can have your garage door open.
Yes, it is the Kendall Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Well, hello, it's producer Allison again. And you want to hear my impression of Nigel? It's Beer Sample Friday here on the Hammer and Nigel Show, kicking off at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Those who don't have 20/20 vision usually do something about it. But many who can't breathe freely through their nose just live with it, not realizing they can have 20/20 breathing. At Advent, we're out to change that. With 20/20 breathing, you'll have fewer sinus infections, more energy, you'll sleep better, and you will live better. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. In 2006, Advent pioneered the balloon sinuplasty procedure. And since, thousands of our patients can tell you, this simple 20-minute in-office solution really works. Balloon sinuplasty can give you 20/20 breathing so you can breathe freely through both nostrils with your mouth closed day and night. And that can change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com. Results may vary. Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, Call Bob right now. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. That's 800-890-5075. Paid for by Term Direct.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-367-6289. 800-367-6289. 800-367-6289.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Brad Kloppensteinstein in the studio, filling in for the Hammer and Nigel program this afternoon. I saw you got some good pictures of the Northern Lights.
I did. So you guys were talking about it earlier.
Yep.
Jim, nice to meet you, by the way.
Same here.
So last night we were watching the news at like 10, and they're like, hey, you can kind of see the Northern Lights. So me and my wife went out on our porch and from Lawrence, and you could kind of see there was some green on the horizon. And we're like, well, that's kind of cool. Then you could see a little bit of pink out there. So you could kind of see them with the naked eye from inside of Marion County. But then we snapped some pictures just because at night, the camera apertures open more, it really looked cool.
I've seen a lot of people saying that their camera took better pictures than what they could see with their naked eye.
Yeah, because earlier this summer, there was a night where they said you could see the Northern Lights, and we never saw them with our naked eye. We had a friend that had a really good camera, and he was able to pick it up, but last night was a lot better.
Hey, speaking of Lawrence, what's going on there? The chief of staff of the mayor tendered his resignation effective today.
So Lawrence is struggling a little bit with their budget. So Lawrence is over budget for 2024, and they're trying to figure out ways to balance the budget. So far this week, the mayor is a Democrat. All 9 councilors are Democrats. The council has expelled one of their members from the caucus because he was being critical of the mayor.
Okay.
So they couldn't hang together. I'm on the stormwater board, and the stormwater is a line item in your property taxes. So that's segregated funds. Well, then they were trying to balance the city budget by taking $1.3 million out of the stormwater budget. And fortunately, we said no.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're right now, the budget that's on the table is cutting $700,000 from public safety, adding $600 and some thousand to the mayor's discretionary budget. But then the council voted to defund the position of chief of staff last night. So shortly after they voted to defund, he submitted his resignation.
Okay, because that's not mentioned at all in the letter. He said it's more because of substantive leadership differences.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure who's pulling the strings and making these decisions. But yeah, it was the council, which they had. they kind of fumbled around to figure out exactly what the title of his position was before they were able to say, okay, it's the chief of staff we want to defund.
So what do you have coming up this afternoon?
Oh, this afternoon we got Beer Sample Friday. Jim Merritt is in with me.
Jim needs to do a beer bong.
He does. Peer pressure.
Yeah.
What's the likelihood that Merritt will be doing a beer bong?
50-50.
I like it. I'll take those odds.
All right. Well, you can join both Brad and Jim this afternoon, 3 o'clock on 93 WIBC.
When is the optimal time to file for Social Security? You know, it's not just about a specific age. This decision could needlessly trigger higher taxes on your benefits and higher taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals. You could even double your Medicare premiums. So if you don't consider all of these things, it could literally cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We know and trust Bill, and you can too. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. This is the one tool that could help you get the most income from Social Security, and it won't cost you a dime, even if you're not a client. Call 317-932-9912. That's Bill Demery at 317-932-9912.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Hi, this is John Schmitz. Are you frustrated with slow or no response from your elected officials? Your U.S. Congressman is one of those politicians that takes your vote for granted. Let's send a message to all politicians. If you don't meet us out in the neighborhoods, we will vote you out. You deserve better. I'll be there for you. I'm committed to work to preserve your freedoms. A vote for Schmitz will ensure less government interference and more control over your own life. I'm ready to work tirelessly for you. Visit johnschmitzforcongress.com and see how your vote can make a real difference. I'm John Schmitz. I approve this message, paid for by Schmitz for Indiana.
Local news in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News on 93 WYBC. WYBC HD1 Indianapolis, it's 11 o'clock.
Dealing with Milton's aftermath in Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Not an easy cleanup for some in the Tampa area.
The ground's just saturated, and they're just falling and taking anything in the way. Fences, power lines. There's a large tree laying across one of the off-ramps off the parkway.
In Sarasota, City Commissioner Eric Arroyo just told Fox,
we don't have power right now, and much of the county has very limited access to water because of the water infrastructure.
Sarasota's where the hurricane first hit on Wednesday.
The boat yards are completely messed up. There's limited access to the barrier islands. We have some bridges that have structural damage.
There's also tornado devastation being cleaned up in other parts of Florida and flooding. Milton blamed for at least 17 deaths. There are still water rescues going on. The number of people killed in Hurricane Helene's devastation now tops 250 weeks after it hit, doing damage all the way up to North Carolina, where floods ravaged mountain communities like in Watauga County, where this man tells Fox many businesses are damaged and closed.
A lot of the workers who live paycheck to paycheck, I mean, it's devastating. What are they going to do? How are they going to eat? How are they going to, what are they going to do to survive?
Israel keeps bombarding Lebanon, where the army says 2 Lebanese soldiers were killed in an airstrike on a checkpoint. Another strike injured 2 members of the UN peacekeeping force in Lebanon, while Hezbollah keeps firing into Israel, killing a farmer there. Israel also keeps waging war against Hamas militants in Gaza. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. still trying to get more aid to all the Palestinian civilians displaced.
I have real concern about the inadequacy of the assistance that's getting to them.
There were tears of joy in Japan today when the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to a group of survivors of the 2 U.S. atomic bombings that ended World War II. Their organization, Nihon Hadankyo, has been outspoken against nuclear weapons. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Hit and run, 61 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A boy badly hurt in a hit and run overnight. It was in Cumberland on the Far East Side. The boy was on a bike when police say witnesses say that a car hit him and then the driver didn't stick around. Hoosiers love school choice, and it's not hyperbole. There's actually a survey that backs that up. Betsy Wiley with the Institute for Quality Education tells Indy Politics that since state lawmakers passed expansions to the state school voucher program, the number of people engaging in it is way up.
We have record-breaking voucher applications at over 75,000 students participating in that program this year.
And she says the vast majority of parents are choosing a different public school district than the one they geographically live in. Keegan Kline may be brought in as a witness for the defense in the Delphi murders trial next week. Richard Allen's lawyers motioning for Kline to be transported to the Carroll County Courthouse, and Kline is in prison for child porn. He ran an online profile that Libby German had communicated with before she died. You can count Indiana Michigan Power as another Hoosier utility that's out there helping in the relief of Hurricane Milton in Florida.
So we have 479 employees and contractors joining Hurricane Milton restoration efforts to help Tampa Electric and Florida Power and Light restore their customers.
I&M spokeswoman Shani Doyle, AES Indiana also has dozens of workers helping out. The AAA Hoosier Motor Club announced that it will soon be hosting a free car check event in anticipation of winter. Sasha Nixon.
Here, automotive experts will check your tire pressure, car battery, headlights and taillights, and more. The event will be organized as a drive-through experience and is open to everyone. If you would like to attend, head to the AAA headquarters at Keystone Crossing between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. on October 24th. Sasha Nixon, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
More Indy 500 off-season testing going on today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Just a handful of drivers testing today. Tested on Thursday as well. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
I love my Window Nation windows. They look great on my house. Window Nation's 96% customer satisfaction rating, the highest in their industry.
And Window Nation's energy-efficient windows can save you up to 40% on your energy bill. I know because I'm a customer and I've seen it. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows for free, plus pay nothing, no interest for 2 years. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Fall in Indy, and if you hate the paint, do what Judy did. She called Rhino Shield.
After having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating specifically formulated for our unique climate.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
Now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield is partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield and recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Plumbing problems stink. The LD Smith Crew can handle anything. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, October 11th. It's 6 minutes after 11. This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. Rob Kendall has the day off. My name is Casey Daniels, and Jim Roberts, the dude, is joining me in the studio today. So it was just a little over a month ago that Donald Trump made a notable appearance on Theo Von's This Past Weekend podcast. Now, since that episode premiered, it has amassed over 13 million views, and it is Theo Von's second most popular and viewed episode, right behind Joe Rogan's 22 appearance that had 22 million views. So there is now rumor going around that Donald Trump may appear on Joe Rogan's podcast. I think this is a horrible idea. I don't think he should do it.
And why is that? Because Rogan, while he's a little down from his peak in popularity, he still has a extraordinarily successful and popular podcast.
Well, because these podcasters, they're not held to the same standard as broadcasters.
What standard's that?
Well, you know, certain words we can't say.
Okay,
I mean,
got it,
obviously, there's a governmental organization behind us with the FCC.
Yep.
Certain things we can and can't do. Someone like Joe Rogan can completely go off the rails and say whatever he wants to Donald Trump, and there's no accountability. Like, there's no stopping him or anything. And I think that's what he would intend to do. And he would intend to do it for the clicks and the likes. And I don't know if it would be very productive. If the only reason he would be doing it is for the shock value.
Trump's strategy has been sound so far because he's been going on these non-mainstream media podcasts, whether it's Theo Von, and he was on with Andrew Schultz.
Yeah,
and
we're going to get to that.
He did Gutfeld, and they have been very successful and very popular. I don't know that Rogan will be as friendly an interview as some of these other non-traditional areas that he's gone to recently.
Yeah, I don't think he would be friendly either, and I think that this is an opportunity for Donald Trump to say something stupid.
Yeah, well, he certainly likes to do that on a regular basis. I tend to agree with you. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense for Trump to do Joe Rogan. He needs to stick to these friendly places like these comedian podcasts like Andrew Schultz and Theo Von that have massive audiences. I mean, who would have thought a couple of years ago that a guy like Theo Von could get 13 million views on his podcast when he has Donald Trump on? So they've got this incredible reach, and they can be incredibly productive in getting his message out.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't want anybody to hold Donald Trump accountable, because I do. I'm saying that I don't think
if you were on Trump's political team, advising him as to which media to go to,
because at this point, it seems everything is swinging towards Trump's way. And what have we said about Donald Trump? Stop talking.
Stop talking.
Just stop talking, because you're going to say something that's going to derail all of the momentum that you've made. Kevin, you listen to Joe Rogan. What do you think? Is that a good move for him to do?
I don't listen to him so much anymore, but yeah, I would say I kind of feel like Rogan's audience already will vote for Trump. Whereas
so he
with
doesn't
Theo
need that?
Von, I don't think he even needs. I don't think it will help him. Whereas like Theo Von's audience, I feel like there's more middle of the road people that might be swayed.
Right, that he could gain some votes.
Yeah, I think so.
From that podcast, unlike Joe Rogan.
Yeah, and Rogan's really not. I feel like he already peaked as a podcaster, so I don't think he really moves the needle like he used to.
It was Elon Musk, right, who said that Donald Trump was going to be on Joe Rogan?
He's the source of all of this, and I think he said, the way he phrased it was, he feels it's likely that Trump will appear on Rogan's podcast before the election.
Well, you know, Donald Trump never met a microphone or a camera he didn't like, so I'm sure he'll do it eventually. I just don't know if that's a wise move on his part.
And if he's not going to do the mainstream media, appearances. He's not doing 60 Minutes. There's some other mainstream media pieces that he's declined. He needs to get his message out there, and he needs to be going on these new media podcasts. And if it's not Joe Rogan, then he needs to find himself another 1 or 2 or 3 that he can appear on that'll be friendly, because he has to keep the momentum going. Trump's had good momentum the last several weeks here, and he's got to keep that momentum going by having these conversations and getting his face out there.
We'll see if Joe Rogan does it for him, but he did make an appearance on the latest Flagrant podcast. Now, this is hosted by a comedian, Andrew Schultz, and we're going to air some clips for you. Here is Donald Trump. He's talking about his kids on the podcast, and keep in mind, in just 7 hours, this podcast with Andrew Schultz received more views than when Kamala Harris was on that Call Her Daddy podcast. And that's another thing. You gotta make sure that you're being selective about which podcast you're going on, and it doesn't do damage to what you're saying.
Absolutely. There's risks associated with all of this. This is why we talked about it. It's risky every time Trump opens his mouth that he's going to say something that he shouldn't say. And it's risky going on these podcasts because you don't know what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, here is Donald Trump talking about a story. I think this is a story about Don Jr.
Where they, still become ambitious and successful.
So I do have good kids and 5 really wonderful children. And different, very different. Yeah, they are so different. But, one thing that was in common that I did, I always used to say when I was with them or when they were leaving a room, I would drive them crazy. No drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. I would say that.
Did you say that to Don Jr.?
Yeah, Don's a little wild. He's a wild. He can be a little tough.
He told me a funny story.
Go ahead.
Okay. I talked to a bunch of people. I was trying to, prepare for this interview.
Right.
He told me a funny story. And he said to me, he goes, once he asked if he could have a couple of his friends over for New Year's. Was it New Year? No, it was July 4th.
Right.
On top of Trump Tower.
Right.
And you said yes. He's like, I want 5 friends. You're like, okay, I'm out of town. Go for it. He brings 200 people over to Trump Tower. Okay?
That's right.
Okay. He says that you weren't supposed to be there. You end up showing up. You hear some noise upstairs. You come up. You go, what the is everybody doing here? Get the hell out of my house. He said he cleaned for the next 36 hours. And he said, to this day, you have never brought up that it even happened. And he said, I'm starting to believe it might not have happened. Yeah. So can you give him closure?
No, it happened. No, I can never give closure. you can never forget.
Mm-hmm. So it definitely happened. Can you imagine trying to have a party and your dad's Donald Trump?
I'm glad that my dad isn't doing the podcast circuit and telling stories about all the things that I did as a kid.
Uh-huh.
I was rambunctious. I think that's how they labeled me as a teenager, rambunctious.
So this is one of Trump's longest interviews. It lasted 90 minutes compared to when he was on with Theo Vaughn. That was 60 minutes.
But this is where Trump is at his best, when it's relaxed.
Telling stories. Weaving
and
things in and out. Yeah, but again, I'm not sure if Joe Rogan will give him that opportunity.
Good point.
Here he is breaking down the art of the nickname for friends and enemies and how he comes up with the nicknames that he gives people.
This is a little new world. I call him, his name is Jack. I call him TikTok Jack. I'm good with names,
You are.
You're
very good. You are.
Pocahontas.
Yeah.
We have names.
What about, and there was, Tampon Tim was good. What about,
the problem with Tampon Tim, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
In other words,
it's a mouthful.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Tampon. And you can't stutter it through when you call it. It's really a lousy word to say.
Yeah.
But it's quite accurate, right? there are some, like Comrade Kamala. It's a little hard to say. She's Comrade because she's obviously a communist.
Yeah.
She's horrible. So I call her Comrade.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. But when you put the names together, it's a little, you got to be able to No, you got to be able to put it out there. But we have a lot of good ones. A lot of them I can't go into with you because some of my best ones. Some of my best ones are from the Republican primaries.
Oh,
And they're all friends of mine now.
He doesn't want to give them nicknames. Here's the thing, though. Could you imagine Kamala surviving an interview like that?
No, absolutely not. Trump is so good at nickname. I forgot that he was the one that gave Elizabeth Warren the nickname of Pocahontas. I completely forgot because that nickname for her has become fairly mainstream and gone beyond Trump. He's outstanding at it, and it sounds like he really enjoys it.
Yeah,
Did you
it
hear
does.
how much fun he was
the
having?
way he tells the stories, and you can tell he's got a good sense of humor, and he comes across as, normal and likable. And pew, you got to have those nicknames that just get through everything.
Yeah, we might have to make that a sounder for whenever Rob comes up with a new nickname.
Right? Pew.
I
Okay,
like that.
so he also was talking about the assassination attempts on his life, and here he is wondering why the FBI hasn't opened foreign-based apps on the assassins' phones.
But here we are.
Who do you think tried to take you out?
So I'm going to give you some big breaking news, right?
Love that.
Here's the breaking news. So you have this shooter, and you have another shooter, right? So this shooter had 3 or so cell phones. The FBI's never gotten them opened.
Wow.
The other shooter, 3 apps, they call them, and I believe they were foreign-based apps, from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
They haven't opened them, and they're foreign-based. And, you hear all about Iran, because I was rough with Iran, but I want to see Iran do great.
Yeah.
But I want to stop all the killing and all this. And I was rough on Iran, and they supposedly have a hit on me. In fact, I think it takes great courage for you people to be interviewing me, because it could be now,
Yeah.
They
Well,
could
we
be
didn't know
right
that
now.
before we got in here.
No,
before.
if you would have known that, you might not have done this.
Yeah, exactly.
Secret Service. In fact, this is a good way of me getting the interview to be shorter. All of a sudden, he's going to say, okay, that's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Go see my daughter.
Anyway, they have 3 apps, and foreign-based, 2 of them, maybe 3 of them are foreign-based. They haven't opened them yet. Why wouldn't you open them when you hear about Iran or when you hear about, foreign? Then the other one had 6 cell phones, and they haven't opened. Now, it's very hard to open a cell phone. Only Apple can do it in theory.
Okay, so he's saying only Apple can do it, and you got to wonder why wouldn't Apple be helping the FBI or the Secret Service catch these foreign entities with this? But he also brought up another point as he's talking to the people who are interviewing him, saying you're kind of in danger being near me. And that thought crossed my mind when we were at the Butler rally.
Well, and that was, Rob kind of had that in mind when we kept talking about how we were going to go to the Butler rally. He kept saying, "Hey, are you sure?
You scared? You nervous?
You nervous about this?" And Trump seems to have a good attitude on it. You do everything you can to be as safe as you can, and that's about as best you can do. And you've got to live your life beyond that.
Right. You gotta keep going.
You got to go out and do stuff.
You can't live in fear.
Can't live in fear. You got to go out and do stuff and take precautions. Doesn't mean being reckless. It means taking precautions and doing the right thing. But at the end of the day, you just got to go out and live your life.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC. This could be one of the most consequential votes of our lifetime.
Who will be our next governor?
U.S. Senator. Our next president.
Who will represent us in the General Assembly?
You have a voice with your one vote.
Unhappy with the current state of affairs?
You can do something about it.
Voting is one of our most important rights as Americans.
It's how you can stand up for your beliefs,
your values,
and for future generations.
A reminder to make your vote count on November 5th.
November 5th.
November 5th.
From WIBC
and Urban One.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hi, it's T. Brian Hayes here from the Retirement Money Matters Show. It is time for our question and answer show for October, and we have many great questions to answer this month, including a question about saving in a traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA, one on how to redo a Social Security election, and another on a common misconception about Roth IRA conversions. Find out the answer to these questions and many more on the Retirement Money Matters Show, which airs this Saturday morning at 6 a.m. right here on WIBC.
There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
He does it on his own time, apparently, whenever he feels like doing it as well. We're talking about Bob Dylan. So he tweeted out that he ran into the Buffalo Sabres in the elevator at a Prague hotel. He said they were in town to play the New Jersey Devils. They invited me to the game, but I was performing that night. Boy, which do you pick, a concert or a hockey game? But it's so random. Bob Dylan out of nowhere, just peeping up on Twitter.
So if you don't know, the Buffalo Sabres are an NHL hockey team, and judging by the NHL's ratings, you don't know that. That most random thing of the week, easily. Bob Dylan happens to be in Prague doing a show. The Buffalo Sabres are playing games against the Devils. I think it's preseason still for the NHL. And they run into each other in the hotel. And what the weird thing about this is, NHL hockey players, for the most part, are guys in their 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. No way they have any idea who Bob Dylan is.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I mean, he's pretty, descriptive in, the way he looks with his curly hair and he's a little guy.
He hasn't done anything since these guys were born.
This is true. They're probably like, who's this old guy? They're just having a conversation
Right. Or this
with
old
him.
guy with a weird voice carrying a guitar. That's odd.
It's interesting because I went back and I looked through Bob Dylan's Twitter account to see how often he posts.
And
he's posted 5 times this year. And one was just a couple days ago about this Buffalo Sabres encounter in the elevator in Prague.
Yeah, if I don't care if I never tweet. If I run into Bob Dylan and the Buffalo Sabres in an elevator in Prague, I can guarantee you I'm tweeting about it. That was definitely Twitter worthy for Bob Dylan to send that out.
But it's just so random. And he almost has this kind of like, I'll do it when I feel like it. Like, just showing you that these people play by their own rules. They've got their own timeline. And if it's something that was fascinating to him, yeah, maybe I'll mention it. But if not, no. Like, he's not posting anything about his concerts or that he's in Prague or the beautiful architecture there or, things that I think I would be posting about. No, he's talking about how he ran into these hockey players in the elevator.
Well, now I'm going to have to go on Bob Dylan's Twitter account and find out what else he's tweeting. What else rose to the level of Bob Dylan sending out a tweet? And I'm going to go check and see if he's blocked Rob Kendall as well on Twitter. I'm going to start checking everybody.
He said just on October 1st, Last time he was in New Orleans, he ate at a Dookie Chase's restaurant, and he would recommend it. Okay, he wasn't there. He just was talking about last time he was there. He mentioned Bob Newhart. He wished somebody happy birthday. He reposted something about the Beatles. And that's been it.
That's been Bob Dylan
for the past year.
2024.
Actually, the most surprising part of this to me is that Bob Dylan has a Twitter account and he uses it.
Right.
Like I would think, yeah, he'd have, tons of followers, but never posts anything ever.
Or it would be handled by a team. Like
Somebody
it would be
else.
the Bob Dylan brand that posts about his tours. Isn't this the same guy where everybody lost their mind when he went electric? Everybody lost their mind when Bob Dylan went electric. He's on Twitter. Nobody says a word.
He sends the tweet out, though, 2 days after it happened. Kind of like, yeah, I'll get to it.
He's busy. He's a busy guy. He's got concerts. He's in Prague. He's Bob Dylan. He can do whatever he wants.
I guess so. And what about the Minnesota Twins? They're going to be up for sale, possibly. Is this happening?
Yeah, so this is where we are in sports right now, is these teams are all worth billions and billions of dollars. And when somebody is waving that kind of money in your face, owners of pro sports teams are going to be willing to sell. We saw Mark Cuban sell the Dallas Mavericks earlier this year. Yeah, the Minnesota Twins are up for sale, and this should make people in Minnesota nervous. Every time a team gets sold, there's the possibility of it
moving,
new owners uprooting
Leaving
things
town.
and moving. And let's talk about this. I remember a couple weeks ago when I was in here, we talked about the Oakland A's and how they're moving to Las Vegas and the uproar around that. Chicago White Sox fans better be careful, because the similarities between the Oakland A's and the White Sox are deep. Dumpy old stadium that nobody wants to go to, terrible attendance, a city that won't give you a free stadium. And most importantly,
They already have a baseball team
there's
in the Cubs.
already
Yeah.
another baseball team there, just like there is in San Francisco. And with media rights being everything to these pro sports franchises and leagues, it really doesn't do you a whole lot of good to have two teams in one city. You're much better off leaving the Cubs in Chicago and the White Sox, potentially moving to wherever, Nashville or San Antonio or Oklahoma City. And I know the White Sox just came off literally the worst season in Major League Baseball history. I think they lost 121 games this year. It was an all-time record. And White Sox fans are out there screaming for Jerry Reinsdorf to sell the team, which is unconscionable to me, because Jerry Reinsdorf is the only thing keeping the White Sox in the city of Chicago. So fingers crossed for Minnesota Twins fans that if they do sell, they can keep their team in Minneapolis.
So they've been owned by the Poland family since 1984, and they're estimating that the Twins are now worth $1.5 billion. Last time they were sold in 1984 was for $44 million. So, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty decent return on their investment.
Yeah, $44 million to $1.3 billion. That is a heck of a return.
It does show you, though, that the business of sports is absolutely booming. And although many people are saying that baseball's dead, especially since all the rule changes, not if they're worth $1.5 billion.
And again, it's the media rights fees that are keeping all of these pro sports teams floated, because these media companies, especially with the streaming companies like Netflix and Amazon and Apple wanting to get in on the game of pro sports, the demand for live sports has never been greater, and the media companies just keep paying more and more and more money, which means more and more owners are probably going to look to sell because their teams are worth more than they ever have been before.
All they have to do is find that one whale who's willing to cough up $1.5 billion. And you, too, can own a baseball team.
It'd be fun. Owning a baseball
To
team?
own a baseball team? Yeah, you'd have the best seats in the house, wouldn't you? And unlimited Cracker Jacks.
That'd be the best part about all that. Can you imagine just going into a suite and just destroying the buffet there at any sort of pro sports
And
game?
then say,
and
what?
somebody looks at you and
I
goes,
own it.
I own the place. Get
I
out
own
of
it."
here.
Yeah.
This is my suite now. Get out of here.
I'm the boss. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies.
Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck.
I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services,
No,
even
but-
for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye.
No, but-
Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Right now, save up to $250 on Cooper tires, and Shocks and Struts are buy 3, get 1 free.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How many have died? I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. At least 16 people have been confirmed dead in Florida. That due to Hurricane Milton, which made landfall Wednesday night as a Category 3 hurricane. Millions are still without power. Indiana Michigan Power as well as AES Indiana are helping restore electricity. In front of the Supreme Court this week, DACA, the program shielding children brought to the U.S. illegally from being deported. Fox's Jared Halpern.
Several states, led by Texas, are suing. They argue the program is forcing them to spend state funds on public health and education. The Biden administration argues Texas does not have standing to challenge the policy. Judges could narrow the scope of DACA, keeping some parts in place and striking down others. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
I'm Kirk Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
If you recently lost health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Marcus when he lost his job, and Keisha when she turned 26 and lost her parents' insurance, and Elena when she went off Medicaid. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you concerned about rising property taxes? My name is Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor. My plan would limit your property taxes to 1% of the purchase price of your property. It would never increase, and it would end once you've paid for 7 years. To learn more about my plan to make Indiana government less taxing, go to rainwaterforindiana.com and watch the televised gubernatorial debates this October. My name is Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message, paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
Chris Wedekin here, owner of Absolute Comfort. Increase comfort, lower gas bills, and reduce your carbon footprint.
Go to AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395, 800-285-0395, 800-285-0395.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So it's an official proclamation, but they do this all the time. So now, when Taylor Swift comes to Indy, Beech Grove is going to be named Beech Grove Taylor's version. We have to talk about this now because Rob Kendall is off today. It is the Kendall and Casey show.
There's all of these topics that Rob
WIBC.
refuses to talk about.
So we
got
gotta
to do it when he's gone, and Taylor Swift is certainly at the top of the list, probably.
Yeah, so an official proclamation was issued for Beech Grove, and they're paying homage to Taylor Swift when she's performing at Lucas Oil Stadium coming up in November. So city officials in Beech Grove, they want to call it Beech Grove Taylor's version, and that's going to be November 1st through the 3rd. So explain to everybody the nexus of Taylor's version.
Okay, so hang with me here because I'm going to get into music rights and licensing a little bit and talk about this. So when an artist writes songs, puts out an album, frequently they do not own the rights to their songs. That's owned by the record company, and the distribution and publishing rights are owned by the record company. And so Taylor Swift, as the case was with many new artists, signed a contract where the rights to her songs were owned by her record company. And then the rights to her songs were bought up by a guy named Scooter Braun, who is kind of a dirtbag in the music industry. And he and Taylor fought a lot, and Taylor was pretty angry that he was able to purchase the rights to her songs. So what she did is she went and re-recorded them. And so when you re-record the songs, the artist owns the rights because she's no longer bound by that first record contract that she had. And so when she re-recorded all of her songs, she calls them Taylor's version. So it would be, Picture to Burn, parentheses, Taylor's version. And so Taylor's version appears in parentheses at the end of every single song that she has re-recorded. So that's why, and the reason why Beech Grove is renaming itself Beech Grove Taylor's version.
So they shared the news on a Facebook post, and here's the thing: the mayor of Beech Grove, he has a young Taylor Swift fan in his family.
Yes.
So of course he's using his authority in the position to make his kid happy.
Hey, is there nothing we won't do for our kids? Yeah, if I'm the mayor, I'd do it too. Look, can we just have fun with Taylor Swift? Can we just have fun with her? She's the biggest music artist
many people do
on the planet. She's selling out tours. She's a billionaire. She's very successful. Millions and millions of people love her. And here she is coming to our little city in Indianapolis. And so can't we have just a little bit of fun with it? If the mayor of Beech Grove wants to change the name of the city to Beech Grove Taylor's version, I'm all for it. Let's have some fun with Taylor Swift.
The treasurer, the clerk, said that during the Eras Tour weekend, they aim to create an atmosphere where it's nice to have a friend and everyone can shake it off and embrace the joy of this special community. Everybody's acting like this is like a holiday, or, it's like... I don't know.
It's a big deal. It's
a concert, dude. It's a concert.
It's Taylor Swift bringing her biggest concert tour that she's ever done, the Eras Tour, to Indianapolis. Now, I'm not going to say this rises to the same level of Super Bowl, but it's in that same ballpark. And just look at what people are paying for tickets. I think the cheapest get-in-the-door price at Lucas Oil for her shows is around $1,500 to $2,000. That's going to put you behind the stage. That's a terrible seat.
So I want to ask all of those people who paid that much money for those tickets, how they did it. Like, what did they do without to be able to afford those tickets? And if you're paying that much for it, like, you spend your money on what you want. But if you're going to spend your money on that, you're not allowed to complain about the cost of other things then.
Oh, is that it? You can spend your money on whatever you want, but then you can't complain about stuff?
Well, it's like,
this is America. I thought this was America. Not only can I spend my money on stupid stuff, I can complain about whatever I want to.
It's true, and you probably will.
And I will.
Yeah. Beech Grove is also going to be hosting a Main Street Taylor's version event November 1st through the 3rd. Okay, so with everything going on down in Florida and North Carolina, some people were questioning whether Waffle House really does have a storm center. They have this reputation for staying open 24/7, 365 days a year. kind of like a radio station. But the question arose, do they really have a disaster response center? And guess what? The answer is yes.
Of course they do.
They do have a weather response center. Because many people look to Waffle House to, they have this 3 color-coded level, and green means the restaurant has a full menu, and it's a signal that damages in the area is limited. The lights are on to the restaurant. Yellow means they have a limited menu, indicating that maybe their power is running on the generator and they may be short on some food supplies. And red means that the restaurant is closed, and that's a sign that there is severe damage in the area or unsafe conditions.
And this has been talked about for a long time now, many years, about how Waffle House is committed to keeping their stores open no matter what. And when there's natural disasters that happen, that's always been the first clue. Is Waffle House open? Okay, well then it must not be so bad. Is Waffle House closed? Oh my gosh, we better hunker down. It's the end of days. And so they posted on Twitter and talked about how, with the hurricanes that are coming through, we've got our storm center and it's rocking and rolling and doing everything we can to keep our stores open. And Twitter lost its mind, and people were like, there's no way that Waffle House has a storm center. No, actually does have a storm center, and it's kind of a big deal.
Yep, they do. And it's also being reported that, FEMA does use the Waffle House Index as a, quote, unofficial unit for measuring a weather event. And with so many locations across the country, they've got a network. It's not bad to look and see what's Waffle House doing. How bad is it?
And I love kind of the dichotomy between these two things, because Waffle House is known for being open 24 hours a day and kind of being someplace you go when you're hungover, or if you're still out drinking all night long. Sure, if you're on Twitter a lot, Waffle House is very known for fights that just break out of nowhere and a lot of just general nonsense. So you've kind of got this image of Waffle House as being this place of chaos over here. But then on the business side, they're like so buttoned up and innovative in the way they manage their restaurants staying open through natural disasters. You really get kind of both sides of the spectrum of Waffle House being a place of chaos and fights and drunks at 2 o'clock in the morning, but also very buttoned up. And we've got meteorologists on staff and a storm center and an index that's followed by FEMA that the federal government looks to for information.
Well, it does show you that Republicans, they often champion the idea of the private sector being involved and helping out and handling crisis better than the government. Well, here's Waffle House being a perfect example of that. Proof that when disaster strikes, private enterprise can be a lifeline for many people and actually someone to look to how they're running their operations.
And that's the way it should be.
We've got Susan Beckwith, who's going to join us next. She just got back from California. We're going to talk to her about what she was doing there. And also, it's the Mind Your Manners segment as we sail into the weekend on 93 WIBC.
The victims of Hurricane Helene need our help. Go to disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. That's disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. From the Salvation Army and WIBC.
When is the optimal time to file for Social Security? It's not just about a specific age. This decision could needlessly trigger higher taxes on your benefits and higher taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals. You could even double your Medicare premiums. So if you don't consider all of these things, it could literally cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We know and trust Bill, and you can too. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. This is the one tool that could help you get the most income from Social Security, and it won't cost you a dime, even if you're not a client. Call 317-932-9912. That's Bill Demery at 317-932-9912.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his $1 trillion spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new office of environmental justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
JMV, the big fall sale continues at Miss M's Home and Garden in Bargersville. 20 to 50% off trees and shrubs, 30% off in-stock patio furniture. State Road 135 in Bargersville.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
Looks like I'm losing.
Well, Jim, you know what time of day it is. It is Friday, and it's time to end the program. And like always, we like to go out on a good note.
We stay positive.
Yes.
Send you into the weekend with positive vibes.
That's right. And we have to outsource it.
Smart. Very, very smart.
We have to go to somebody else to get us to that level. And we always rely on Susan Beckwith. Now, you just got back into town late last night. Before we get into our Mind Your Manners segment, can we talk about where you and Micah Beckwith were and what you were doing?
Oh, yes. We were out in California. It was absolutely beautiful. We were there as part of Project Rescue's big fundraiser, and it was just the most magical time. I highly recommend, if you've not been to Pebble Beach, California, that you make your way there. And Micah was thrilled to be able to play Pebble Beach as well as Emmett Spanish Bay. He likes both of those. Emmett Spanish Bay is more of a link-style course.
Mm-hmm.
So he really likes both courses. Last year he got to play Spyglass. He liked it as well, but not as much.
So that should be a bucket list for people.
Oh, it's stunning.
Yeah.
And we had gorgeous weather. It's always, this particular fundraiser with Project Rescue is always held the first or second week of October, and that's such a gorgeous time to go.
Yeah, Rob talks about Project Rescue often on the radio. Of course, he's off today. But can you explain to everybody what that is?
Yeah, so their ministry started with rescuing women and children out of sex slavery and sex trafficking in India. And so their current initiative that they're raising funds for is building this amazing school over there. And the fundraiser was a huge success. There was over $6 million raised this past week. And it's really exciting to see how they're expanding and growing, and the hundreds of children and thousands at this point that they have been able to minister to throughout the years.
Yeah, $6 million. You'll be able to do a lot of good with that money. That's incredible.
Yeah, the school that they had previously, the government came in because they're really cracking down on also being able to spread the gospel over there, and decided to take their school as part of eminent domain. So, of course, that was very discouraging for them. But, I feel like when one door closes, the Lord opens another. And so now now what they're looking at is even bigger and better and going to touch more lives. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and just a reminder, whenever you buy the I Hate Rob Kendall t-shirt or the I Love Rob Kendall t-shirt from the Hammer and Nigel store, all the proceeds go to Project Rescue.
That's right. Okay, so let's open another door or window, as you said, and talk about the Mind Your Manners segment. And today we have etiquette when visiting a family with a new baby.
Yeah, over the last few weeks, we've really taken specifically listener questions, and this was a suggested topic, and I think it's because, at least in our little corner of the world, we have had so many new babies. At our church, lots of families expanding, and so I love this. So here are some really good, just reminders, some do's and don'ts.
Okay.
So first off, do wash your hands. Obviously, be very mindful of hygiene and germs. Their little immune systems aren't, developed when they're brand new.
Yes, absolutely. The first reaction you have when you see a new baby is, oh, I want to hold and love. And, well, make sure that you've got all those germs off of you because you don't want to pass them on to the little baby.
Absolutely. Some other really good do's. Do be mindful of your cell phone, about noise in general. Thankfully, we didn't have a colicky baby, but I know that some of my friends that have had colicky babies, and getting them to sleep was a real challenge. So waking them is, something that you don't want to do. So do be mindful of your cell phone. Respect boundaries. Don't just assume that, parents will want you to hold the baby. So always ask.
Yeah, I recall when our daughter was young, she was a white noise baby, loved white noise. However, whenever you opened a can of Coke, it would wake her up no matter what. Just that cracking, that noise would startle her right out of sleep. So I definitely know what you mean about the noise. Okay, so Susan Beckwith is with us. It's the Mind Your Manners segment, and we're talking about etiquette when visiting a family who has welcomed a new baby.
Yeah, another one that I like, and it doesn't have to even be anything elaborate. I love things that I could pick up and go, but do bring some sort of food item. I think that's much better than flowers that they ultimately will have to spend energy in finding a vase for and caring for. So if you can, I always think that that's a nice gesture. So granola bars, anything that you can pick up and go, because a lot of times, you're holding the baby, and so I think that's a good do.
Yeah, and also that just gives mom and dad a bit of a break because they are sleep deprived with that new baby in the house.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, here are some of the don'ts.
Okay.
And so let's move on to that. But some of the don'ts I would advise is do not overstay your welcome.
Okay, do you have a recommended time? Is it just kind of like feel the vibe, or what are we talking about?
I think so. I think you get that sense when, parents are starting to wind down and conversation is starting to wind down. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you're just so sleep deprived in those first few weeks. And so I think that's a very important one. While there, also don't give unsolicited advice.
Oh, boy.
It's easy to do. You want to help and you think you're helping, but it can be very overwhelming. So I would say, turn the listening ears on more than maybe give unsolicited advice.
That's a big one for maybe moms or mother-in-laws to pick up on that.
What?
Yes. While you may have had experience, there needs to be a little bit of, growth area for the new parents as well. They want to do it their way.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about this segment last night while we were traveling back with Nathan and Christina. Nathan is our lead pastor at Life Church. And so they were like, oh, this is so great. They were like, here's one that we learned.
Oh, yeah, what?
I appreciated it. Don't post anything on social media before the parents do, and that happened so innocently because they were very, very excited to just share about this new addition and some very sweet, some of their friends at that point in time. But wait to take your cues and wait till they have officially posted.
Well, not only that, but I think you need to ask permission before you're posting somebody else's child on the internet, because the new parents may never want their kid out there.
Absolutely. Yep. That's an excellent point, so that just to always err on the side of caution there. I agree on that one.
Yeah, you don't want to, you definitely don't want to make new mom and dad angry right off the get-go. They may never let you see the new baby again. Okay, do we have any more do's or don'ts for etiquette when visiting a family with a new baby?
Oh, we'll wrap it up with this one. But, when you're visiting, that's wonderful, but maybe leave your own kiddos at home. I know that mine are so full of energy and full of lots of love, but at 7 and 5, they're a lot of times, pretty boisterous. So I would say just to keep it calm, just you yourself visit.
Yeah, and that gives you the ability to put all the attention on the baby or the new mom rather than chasing your own kids around and making sure they're behaving, because that'll just ruin it. You'll be so worried about them, you won't even be able to focus on the new baby.
Exactly. So very true. So those are some good do's and don'ts when visiting a family that has just welcomed a little one.
Yes. Well, that's good stuff. We thank you so much for that this morning. Do you have big plans for the weekend, or is it just a little bit of recovering from jet lag?
Well, I am recovering, but I'm so thankful. I just have to say a huge shout out to my parents for keeping our kids while we were in Pebble Beach. They are amazing, wonderful grandparents, and I am getting ready as soon as just here shortly. I will be picking them up and headed for a fun day of it's fall break for my kids, so lots of fun ahead. I think we're going to Urban Air, I think is the plan.
Oh, fun. Hey, is soccer season over for you guys?
Nope, we still have soccer season and also a cross-country meet tomorrow, so we are still right in the middle of all the athletics and loving every second.
Yep, she's a busy mom.
Hey, Susan, one quick question. It's kind of along the lines of what we've been talking about, but I assume it's okay that whenever you see a pregnant woman, you should go up and touch her belly immediately, correct? That's right? Is that part of it? Is that
No, I think we've covered that. Maybe we need a review on that one.
What? Women don't like that? Strangers just grabbing their pregnant stomach? Okay, well, whatever. I'll file that one away, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, Susan, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Where can people find you?
Yeah, really the best place to connect is Facebook. So Belle of the Midwest on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm also at belleofthemidwest.com is my website.
Yep, it's BELLE of the Midwest. Susan Beckwith, we appreciate you. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show, and that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening. It is WIBC.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
But she doesn't have electricity either.
Through the roof, through the attic, into the room.
They only have one minivan, and it is not big enough for their 8 children.
Hydrogen sulfide is a poisonous gas that smells like rotten eggs.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
Moving on from Milton.
Lots of sunshine, and it's 64 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. I'm Ryan Hedrick.
And I'm Sean Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. At least a dozen people have died because of Hurricane Milton, and that number is expected to go up in the coming days. This man lives near Sarasota, Florida, and he doesn't have power.
We're staying with a friend over off the island. But she doesn't have electricity either. Nobody has electricity. I see some of the stoplights are working, but not many of them.
Brittany Feldman grew up in Indiana. Now she lives in Tampa, Florida. She got out before the hurricane arrived and stayed with a friend. Then she returned home to find that a tree fell on her house.
Through the roof, through the attic, into the room. And then, of course, last night it was raining, so all the water that kind of came in because of that as well.
But Feldman's happy that everyone she knows and loves in Tampa is safe, and she's counting her blessings.
There are other Hoosiers who live in Florida dealing with the hurricane. Jake McDaniel explains how.
Hoosiers hunkered down across the Sunshine State as Hurricane Milton made landfall late Wednesday. 2 were on vacation and rode out the storm. Amy Hoover and her husband moved from Indiana to Florida a few years ago. They only have one minivan, and it is not big enough for their 8 children. So they were forced to ride out the storm in Citrus County.
It was just scary, loud and scary through the night. The kids were up all night. We were up all night, and so we hunkered down together in the middle of the house, away from the windows and stuff. But now it's the aftermath.
Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
As for what's next with Indiana weather, Andrew White with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says the state did not get any remnants of Milton, but rain's possible this weekend.
So we're kind of tracking a weak system that is going to impact the northern half of the state Saturday night. The question is going to be how far south that rain ends up getting.
He says there won't be much of it, but then temperatures cool down and might struggle to reach the 40s by Monday morning.
An Indianapolis police sergeant charged with multiple counts of child exploitation now faces additional federal charges related to child sex crimes. Earlier today, a federal grand jury returned an indictment charging Sergeant Javed Richards with 5 counts of distributing child pornography and 1 count of possessing child porn. Richards is suspended, and the police chief has recommended that he be fired. His jury trial begins in 10 days.
A man loosely connected to the Delphi murder case may be asked to take the stand in the coming weeks. Kurt Darling reports.
The Delphi murders trial starts on Monday with jury selection. As that approaches, Richard Allen's defense has filed a motion asking Judge Fran Gull to have Keegan Klein transported to the Carroll County Courthouse with the intent he testify. They filed motions for 3 other inmates to do the same. Klein is serving 40 years for child porn and is the man behind an online profile that communicated with Libby German in the days prior to she and Abby Williams being murdered. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hoosiers love school choice. That's not hyperbole. That's a survey that backs that up. Betsy Weil with the Institute of Quality Education tells Indy Politics that since state lawmakers passed expansions to the state school voucher program, the number of people engaging in it is way up.
We have record-breaking voucher applications at over 75,000 students participating in that program this year.
And she says the vast majority are choosing a different public school district than the one closest to them geographically.
Hoosiers getting the help they need in more ways than one. Those stories and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Governor Tim Walz doing his own Kamala Harris word salad impersonation. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
A chemical leak has led to fatalities. Fox's Lillian Wu reports.
At least 2 refinery workers are dead and dozens others injured at a Pemex refinery in Deer Park, Texas, after a hydrogen sulfide leak which triggered a shelter-in-place order for nearby residents for several hours Thursday evening and shut down part of Texas 225. The order lifted after air monitoring reports found no hazardous pollutants in the community. The highly toxic gas also preventing investigators from immediately entering the unit.
We want to make sure that our first responders are safe.
Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez. Hydrogen sulfide is a poisonous gas that smells like rotten eggs. It can be found in crude oil and is a byproduct of refining processes. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Later this month, you can get your car checked for free. Sasha Nixon explains.
The AAA Hoosier Motor Club announced that it will be hosting the car check event on October 24th, and you do not have to be a club member to attend. Here, automotive experts will check your tire pressure, car battery, wiper blades and fluid, headlights and taillights, and more. Learn more at hoosier.aaa.com. Sasha Nixon, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
A woman living in a shelter with her 4 kids got a car during a ceremony in Indianapolis Thursday thanks to the National Auto Body Council Recycled Rides program. Her name is Susanna Manuel.
It means security. It means a lot. I'm speechless.
And she hopes to get her GED and a high-paying job.
Someone bought a winning Powerball ticket in Terre Haute this week. Harrison Silcox reports.
That ticket is worth a lot of dough. After matching 4 balls along with the Powerball and a Power Play multiplier in Wednesday's drawing, it's worth $150,000. Someone had bought the ticket at a Speedway gas station in Terre Haute this week. If you think that ticket might be yours and you're trying to find a way to double-check those numbers, the Hoosier Lottery app can help you out. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Checking your radar, 69 degrees. I'm Ryan Hedrick.
And I'm John Herrick. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana. Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
All Donald Trump and J.D. Vance know about manufacturing is how to manufacture BS. That's an actual post right there from Tim Walz. I checked. I'm like, is this legit? Is this real? Am I living in the upside down? Is this a real thing? It's a real thing. It's his account. It has the blue check mark. It must be true. And of course it's true because I saw it on the internet. Tony Katz today. 833-GOT-TONY, 833-468-8669. That's the number. That's how you get to be a part of the show. It has already been a day, and it's going to be a weekend, and it's going to be a week because we're in the final, basically, 3.5 weeks of this campaign. Not basically, through the last 3.5 weeks of this campaign. This is going to be over, and then, of course, it's not going to be over because, as we are fully aware, these things are never, ever, ever over.
Over?